Hello, everyone, and welcome to ReelTok episode 15. 15 episodes going strong, and we are rolling into the week of holidays for most people. So let's just go ahead and just get right into this packed episode, going over an Avatar review, going over a ton of trailers, got movie news, and then ultimately we're going to have a draft of the best sequels overall. But before we get into all that, if you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you hit us with a rating. If you're watching us on YouTube, click subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And if you haven't noticed, we've been posting a ton of ReelQuicks lately, whether it's trivia, Q&A. I can't even remember this one, all the other stuff we've done, like
20 questions.
20 questions.
So much good stuff, and people are like loving them in the comments. So if you're missing out on those, make sure you check those out. I think they're some of the best stuff we do, and based on the feedback, we're absolutely going to continue doing them. So make sure you go check those out. And speaking of ReelQuicks, on Thursday this week, we will be uploading a top 10 Christmas movies of all time from all four of us. So it's not going to be a draft. It's just going to be like all of our top 10s. We'll go over it, so that should be good. Look forward to that. But first, let's just go ahead. How's everyone doing? I would say normally when we come on the pod and we're all like, oh, how are we doing this week? There's like a clear person who had the big milestone thing to talk about. But I feel like unless I'm missing something, it's been pretty tame for all of us this week.
Yeah.
Right? George, what have you been up to?
Not much, honestly. There's a bit of a stressful week of work leading into like the end of the year just because everyone's trying to pack in as much work as possible before they take like their 1 or 2 weekers around the holidays. Had our company holiday party on Wednesday, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, other than that, not much. Work, still trying to, finish setting the apartment, getting everything furnished and shit. The last thing we really need is a couch and a coffee table, so we're just waiting on that. But yeah, other than that, caught up on a lot of good movies. Got to see Avatar, obviously, and pretty busy week of work.
Nice. Are you getting any extended time off for the Christmas vacation? You taking like 2 weeks off of work or a week off of work, or just kind of whatever the company's giving you is what you're taking?
It's whatever just holidays we have. I took the week, obviously, last week to go to London. And then I'm very big on like throughout the year taking like Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays here and there, just making long weekends as many as possible. And I definitely do that over the summer. I take a ton of like Fridays and Thursday and Fridays over the summer. So I think I have like 4 or 5 vacation days remaining. So I'll see. I'll pack them in somewhere.
Nice. Yeah. When I first started my career, I was like, don't take any PTO all year and then just take like an entire month off in like December, January. And then as I've gotten through my career, I've just done that less and less because like everyone takes off these weeks. So you can just work and just
I've also just been sick. When I started like working out of college, I was like nervous. I was like, I don't want to take PTO because I don't want them to like judge me. I don't want to not be working. Mm-hmm. And one of my bosses gave me the best advice. He literally said, tell everyone to go fuck themselves. Take your PTO. Take your time off. You are allotted that. It's your time off. So
what's a PTO?
Paid time off. So like you get a day off of work, but you're still paid for it.
Self-employed guy.
No, I wait.
I think that's just a London guy.
Yeah,
we just don't call it PTO. We just say
holiday. Yeah. But no, like the most freeing thing in your career is when you realize if you got hit by a bus today on the way to work, like would the company even bat an eye? The answer for 99% of people, even like executives most times, is no. So then it's like, when you first start your career, I remember I was always so scared to take PTO, and it's like no one even like so many people don't even notice if you're just gone for like a week. Like your direct team does, but like so many people don't even care or notice. So it's whatever. But Seth, how about you on the other side of the pond? What have you been up to this week?
Not much. I got an eye infection, which is great.
I don't notice it right now, so it seems all clear.
No, it's gone down now. I got put on antibiotics, but it was quite annoying, really. So that was shit. But that's probably been my most eventful thing that's happened this week. It's been pretty dull. The weather here is so bad. Like, I got up the other day and it was -6 Celsius. I don't know, that's under 20 Fahrenheit, I believe. Yeah. Which is crazy cold. It's just horrendous. I mean, it's getting to that point now where it's like near Christmas. I've got a few plans and stuff, which is nice to look forward to. But right now, nothing much this week. Been pretty dull, to be honest. Pretty dull.
Fair. Yeah, in Arizona, it's been colder than normal lately too, because since it's the desert, like it just gets super cold in the morning, but by the time I'm driving home from work, I'll need like the AC in my car because it'll be up to like 68 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever. But in the mornings it'll be under like 32, so my car will get super wet from condensation at night, and then it'll freeze over like in Arizona, which I wasn't used to scraping ice off my car since I left Minnesota and Wisconsin. So Cam, I'm sure you're, maybe George too, familiar with this. Like when you have like an iced over car in the morning, you just like scrape the smallest of visible windows ever. Just like, okay, this is all I need to get on the road and get going. Did that.
I am
yeah.
very lucky to have a car that auto starts. So
Nice.
like I like start it before I get in it, because I live in like a townhome, so it's right there. So I just look at it and get it started, and then make my coffee and go to it. But
yeah, mine's still an OG
winter's
car
getting
from
bad here.
2005, so I don't have like self-start or anything, and I don't park it in the driveway or garage. I park in the driveway. So I did the classic like just scrape a little bit of ice off so I can see. Started driving, and I had to pull over after like a block. I was like, fuck, like I can't see shit. I think someone like actually honked at me too. I was in my neighborhood driving, and I think someone like honked at me. So I was like,
man,
what,
buddy.
I'll just pull over and be. But it's like I'm from Minnesota.
tough.
I'm like an expert at this.
Jesus.
Like this is like I'm built for this. Whereas these people like witness ice once every 5 years.
I believe it. I believe that much, honestly.
Cam, what have you been up to this week? Quiet week for you as well, or any big things?
Man, thinking back on it, quiet week. It was my dad's birthday yesterday. I saw
birthday,
him
Mr.
earlier in the
Walsh.
week.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
I saw him earlier in the week. Just gave him a call, talked to him for about 20 minutes. So, and then I have baby bonding left still, so I'm off for the rest of the year. So I'm feeling pretty good. Very excited to not have to work for the rest of the year. Luckily, Friday was my last day for this year. So.
Does that mean we're gonna get your midday TikTok lives back again?
Yeah, you might.
Yes.
You might. Some
I'm looking forward to
meme.
that.
Man, he moves a lot more now. So like back when I was doing those just stupid TikTok lives, he'd be sleeping, all day. So I had the time, but I definitely will try to go on live and do better at posting TikToks. But I feel like recently
you've
I've
been pretty good at posting.
Yeah,
TikToks.
recently I've been doing
Yeah.
better.
I've missed those lives. It's like watch me build a chair, and it's like a 2-hour video, and you're like twerking in the middle of it. And like,
No one talks about film on his
Yeah.
live. It's the stupidest shit ever. It's amazing.
Absolutely, man.
Everyone
It's
loves
just I'll talk movies, but everyone just asked me to twerk, so I'll twerk, I guess.
Cam, what is baby bonding time? Is that just paternity leave, or do you get paternity leave when the baby's
paternity.
first born, and then you? Okay, so
No, so my company gives 6 weeks, but you can use it within the first year.
that's nice.
How much did you take?
So I took 3 weeks. I took 3 weeks after he was born, and that was good time, kind of get used to it, and I didn't really feel like I needed to take any more. And so it's nice, saved it then and now get to use it 2 weeks end of the year. And then I have a wedding down in Florida in the summer, my wife's cousin. So I'll take it then.
Nice.
What's maternity leave there?
Maternity leave, I believe, for my company is like 12 to 16 or something like that, depending on if you have a C-section or not. Yeah.
Oh, here it's like 40, I think.
Yeah.
40?
No,
Yeah.
America sucks. America sucks. with
Excuse
maternity
me?
leave.
It's paid
Oh.
paid up to 40 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
10
thought,
months off.
yeah.
Here's another reason. Like,
No, I'm pretty sure all of you, like I know like
Okay.
Norway has some crazy maternity leave too.
Like,
Well,
let's not bring.
okay,
Bro,
I
was
Norway's like
like-
the most well-run country ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like very happy with my company's like time off. I was like, damn, that's really good. I feel like, and 40.
no, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure the
it's a bit
USA is
crazy.
just like dog shit compared to other countries. In terms
yeah,
of,
that's probably the norm.
Jesus.
To be honest.
Okay.
Probably the
Right.
norm, isn't it?
well,
I hated hearing that.
That's nuts.
You're not maternity leave. You're on maternity leave anyway. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah, fair enough.
when
Alright.
I'm ready, I might come to London for a couple of years.
there you
I
go.
will admit right now to everyone, I'm trying to put together that little animation that we do for our stars on Avatar: The Way of Water
Oh,
right now. So
nice.
so if you see me just looking down, that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Just full transparency.
Shout out Adams and Visuals for making our graphics and stuff. But he actually sent me like some stars stuff that should make your job easier. He sent me that honestly like a couple weeks ago, so I've been meaning to get that.
I
over
mean, my
to
job's
him.
pretty easy. I'm
Just realized
give me
Cam's
one second.
for the video version. Cam's in the Seth spot and Seth's in the Cam spot, so I'll fix that. But for a while there's Cam with Seth. So
man, people aren't gonna know. I am done. So it's fairly simple actually.
all right. Well, for me this week, again, quiet week. I posted on my TikTok and Instagram story yesterday. We put up a projector in our bedroom. The only thing that's sketchy
yeah.
about that is the projector's right above like our heads where we sleep, and it's not the most stable stand. So I'm a little sketched out about it. I might have to like go legit and like get some wood and drill it into like make like a little shelf up there for it. Because right now it's just like this like basically it's a stand that's meant for like a DVD player or something that you like put up in your entertainment center.
Whole projector
Yeah,
on it.
The
gonna
projector's
die.
actually not that
You're gonna
heavy,
die,
so it's
man.
not bad. But yeah, it's a little sketchy up there. So I'm gonna like over winter break or whatever, just jerry rig some up there because it's sketching me out a bit. But I love the projector so far. It's freaking really nice.
I hope you make it through the year, man.
Yeah.
The thought of you waking up in the middle of the night to a projector on your ass is hilarious, but the idea of what it would actually do to you is not funny at all.
No, like, because it would. It's high enough because we have like vaulted ceilings too, so it's like probably high enough to where it'd like probably break our face, like if it fell on us, like legitimately.
That's great.
So it's a temporary thing. It's fine. It's not like it's gonna move or anything. But I'm worried like a cat will pull the outlet and then it'll just like knock on the projector.
Yeah.
So Tyler and Riley are gonna wake up with a few missing teeth.
More than that.
Well, I just have a couple days left of work and then we'll get.
Sorry, before on, I will say. It's Christmas week. We've been trying. Sunday, unfortunately, is when Christmas falls, and we've been trying to plan our schedules. So don't count. Well, maybe we'll have a video next week, hopefully, if our schedules line up. But Tyler, tell them about our awards because we will have that next week at the very least, if I'm not mistaken.
Like the nominees for our awards. Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So yeah. We still don't have a name for it, but right now, Cam, do you want to announce the name just off the cuff?
Don't say it.
No. We'll wait there. We'll think.
Okay, so we're gonna have a ReelTok award show.
Which doesn't like my name.
I need to see a calendar real quick. So
dude, Sunday is Christmas.
It's already Christmas, man.
Yeah. So next Sunday is Christmas. So then we're gonna try to have like an episode that'll come out on the 26th, and then the week after that uploads on the 2nd will be our ReelTok award show for the year. So on the 2nd, we're gonna announce our awards, all the staples that you'll expect at the Oscars, like, best film of the year, best cinematography, best actor, best actress. Then we'll have some fun ones in there as well to make it a little different and make it a little more exciting. So that's going to come out on the 2nd, which means on the 26th or sometime early in that weekend, we'll be posting on Twitter some forms that you guys can vote for who you think will win the awards on there. And the way I'm doing it kind of on the back end, so behind the scenes, is this upcoming weekend, I'm going to send out the questionnaire to all the ReelTok crew, and I'm going to say, here, send me your top 5 of the year for all these categories, and I'll compile all of our top 5s into one big nominees list, and then those will be the nominees that we go off of. But I'm waiting because next week The Whale comes out and Babylon comes out, and I think both of those have an opportunity to sneak into some of our top 5s for various categories. So
send us screeners. Send me
screeners so I can watch them.
Oh, shit, yeah. Shit, I forgot you don't even get them.
But yeah, so ReelTok award show is coming out in 2 weeks. So within the next week and a half, expect on Twitter we'll be posting all of our polls and different forms you can vote because we're gonna have fan engagement in this. We don't want to just have what we say the awards are. We want to have what the fan favorites are for all these categories as well. It's gonna be a very interactive award show, and we might even stream it live on Twitch. We've been floating that idea around there as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and it's coming up fast. So keep your ears out for those. And that's also another reason, if you haven't already, to follow us on Twitter and Instagram because we'll be posting our nominees on there for you to vote on.
We're nearly on 1K on both, I think.
We are almost on
940 Instagram and then something around that Twitter.
Hey, Tyler.
Yes.
I'm just scrolling Twitter. You've been disbussing filmed. Unfortunately.
Oh, no way.
No, I tweeted as a joke. Big if true. That's not someone me saying.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant damn, this is wild.
Cam, I'm turning the tables on you on that because that post is literally saying the Dwayne The Rock Johnson threatened to do the people's elbow on DC executives, and I said big if true, and for you to read that,
big if true means sarcasm.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true. Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. That's my bad. Sorry.
All right, well, let's just get right into the episode and just start with the big review of the week, which might be the most anticipated most anticipated movie of the year for a lot of the layman movie watchers, and Avatar: The Way of Water. So, Avatar: The Way of Water. That's
what it's called.
It is Avatar: The Way of Water. Are you sure?
Okay. I don't know. I wrote something else. I was kind of hoping you'd read it, but never mind. That's fine.
Cam, you're the funny guy of the crew, so I'll let you say. You know what you say right now? What's it called?
I just wanted you to say.
I just read it now.
It's Avatar. Hey, I'm watering over here.
Jake Sully and Neytiri have formed a family and are doing everything to stay together. However, they must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora when an ancient threat resurfaces. Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans. The cast is Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, and Kate Blanchett, as well as others. Cam, it is Zoe Saldana. It's not Zoe Saldana. Yeah. It has an Enye, that's how it's pronounced. And I also watched a video where she's like, yeah, everyone says my name wrong, but that's just what comes when you're a person of color.
I appreciate you letting me know then.
Yeah.
I like it.
The only reason I thought that is because I saw her name spelled in the cast list and had the Enye, and I was like, it can't be Zoe Saldana, just based on what I know of Spanish. And then I looked at the video, and she's like, yeah, everyone says my name wrong, but that's just kind of what you have to expect in Hollywood. So I was like, okay, I'll say it right. Yeah, so let's just go right into our reviews. So what I was thinking we do here is just kind of give our, we'll go around the room and just give like our headline, like this is my overall key takeaways of it and what my score is, real quick to the point, and then after that we'll just say like, okay, spoilers are going to start here. So we'll start off with Seth. Just give your kind of headline, what your overall quick thoughts were, and your overall score out of 5 stars, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like not like a skeptic, but I was. I didn't really know what to think about this because I didn't love the first one, but I really enjoyed it. So I give it 4 out of 5. The script's not perfect. Again, I have similar issues with this one than I did with the first, but I think this does a lot better in terms of being that enthralling sort of visual spectacle that I can kind of just. The world building was great, and I actually enjoyed a lot more. I'll go into this in spoilers, but I enjoyed some of it more than what apparently most people did as well. I do think it distinguishes itself from the first. I do think there is a difference, but then again, the dialogue is still not great. It still follows issues. But I had a really good time with it. I think the final act was really good. I think some of the action scenes were really good. I was not completely emotionally invested into the characters. I think it's quite hard to do in this sort of setting, and I don't think that's James Cameron's really strong suit. His strong suit is providing these visual spectacles that are just incredibly enjoyable. The world building is great, but I don't know. I didn't completely invest, but I think I probably did a little bit more than the last one. I mean, just to sort of give you the margin, I give the Avatar a 3 out of 5. I give this one a 4 out of 5. So I enjoyed it a significant amount more, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. And I actually disagree with Cameron here as well. I watched this in 3D, and I really liked it. I really liked it in 3D, honestly. I will say though, first 5 minutes I got into the screening, the 3D projector broke. So it was just frozen for 10 minutes.
Are your theaters? Are you going to a theater like outside of a barn? I feel like you have the worst their experiences.
No,
they're always breaking.
You got stuck with the Woman King too, didn't you?
Yeah,
it's only twice. I think we need to say
2 more times than I've ever had.
Yeah, that's 2 more times.
The cinema I go to, I think it's just unlocked because it's like the biggest, or at least one of 2 biggest ones in the UK, and they're really good, like in terms of the seats, screens, and stuff. But I'm having issues.
Yeah, and Cam, your Glass Onion showing got canceled. What do you mean you've never had theater issues?
Fuck you, Cam.
To be fair, I got my money back and got free tickets. So.
Oh no, I got money back and free food and snacks as well.
All right, free food and free tickets probably are about. Actually, free food's way more expensive. Let's be honest, but
yeah,
good for you. Good for you.
I've never had an issue because New York is superior.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I'm not. But
Cam,
okay, so
next.
Seth, yeah, I just want it to be known, like I made this video. I didn't have a problem with this movie being in 3D, but I'm never going to see a movie in 3D.
Yeah, 3D that's what I thought you were meaning. Like I didn't think you cared about what the movie was.
It's
just
not
3D doesn't
this
do it
movie's problem. It's 3D in general. It sucks, man. You sit there and you have these glasses on that are uncomfortable. And I didn't even think about this because I don't wear glasses, but a lot of people wear glasses and they got to double glass it up. That sucks. These are not.
I don't wear glasses. Neither do you.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying, hey, respect other people. Respect the non-seeing. The not as well seeing, I guess. But
I could say you just disrespected them more than anyone.
Not blind, just not as well seeing. But yeah, you got to wear double glasses. You got to every 10 minutes. I swear to God, I have to take my glasses off, and then I'm watching a blurry screen just to like re-home base my brain. Man, it's too much, and I don't like 3D. You get a headache if you don't do that. Like I know lots of people that get headaches. I don't like 3D, and I had a lot of people agree with me, so I am feeling justified.
All right, but the movie.
On the actual movie.
Whenever I get the clip of that little rant, I'm gonna put it over the Metro Boomin soundtrack. You see that trend on TikTok?
Yes, I love that. That's awesome. But I don't know. What do you want me to say? This movie looked beautiful. If anyone thinks that's an original take, it's not. But if you also if I've not seen anyone say it doesn't look good. If there's anyone out there that thinks the visuals look bad, you're a fucking idiot. And that's
there has to be someone on TikTok because I'm trying to get popular by saying that.
What did you think of the water? Because that was
I mean, like it looks truly beautiful. I think we talked about this.
They knew that though. They were a few scenes where they're like, "Here's the water.
No,
let's just leave you with that for ages."
Exactly. And I'm gonna say like
we'll dive more into that when we like break the spoilers. Let's just do
3 hours and 10 minutes. 3 hours and 10 minutes, and for me, the middle third was, "Hey, look at these visuals," and they're great. They're amazing. But damn, I got a little bored in there. And I think it's just because the middle third is an hour of this movie, or an hour and 3 minutes, whatever you want to say. It takes a while to get through. And I felt the length, not terribly, like definitely not as bad as other 3 hour movies that don't deserve it. Cause this is like it's an adventure. It's more an adventure than
this is more deserving.
I agree. I agree. It's more of an adventure than it is like an action movie, is what I'd say. I enjoyed, I don't know. Tyler's kind of been going off that the plot's not basic. The plot, like, it's fine. It's a good plot, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it's anything.
I've more been going off saying, since when are basic plots bad? Is what I've been saying.
Oh no.
Sorry, Cal. I think like it's just a blockbuster formula of plot. It's the same thing we get in
every movie ever.
Every like MCU films, Top Gun, same sort of thing. It's that formula, but it works.
That being said, that just like I think there's like this thing that's like there are nine plots a movie can follow. Like there are 9 plots that when you boil it down to the very broad. So I do think it has like its own, unique take to it. And I don't want to keep beating this over the head of just my non-spoiler thoughts. There was a couple things in the plot I didn't like, and we'll get into that. But George, take it away.
I mean, you guys said basically everything I feel. I do have the wildly original thought. I haven't heard anyone say it yet. The movie looked great. It looked amazing.
That's a hot take.
Super hot. But yeah, I'm echoing everything you guys said, especially to Cam's point where I thought the first act felt incredibly hectic and rushed because I think James Cameron wanted to have that middle third to just jerk off on screen and just show us exactly.
James Cameron.
Yeah, just showing us what he's capable of. So that first third felt incredibly rushed to me. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't have a beautiful time at this movie. There were certain sequences that genuinely had my jaw on the floor. I echo what Seth said, and I posted a story about this. I don't think anyone expected this to win any screenplay awards, but no. I would still like something. I felt very hollow at the end of the movie because I didn't really care about as many characters as I would have liked. I didn't care, and we'll go into spoilers, but something happened to a certain character that probably should have made me cry. It didn't.
I forgot to mention that. Like a lot of people were saying that I made him cry and stuff.
It didn't because it just I wasn't as emotionally invested in these characters and the actual story as much as I wanted to be. With that said, that final act was sick. I was literally like I reclined my seat back into the upward position because I was just so locked in. I didn't want to be like lying down. And I want to end off with this. This is a movie Martin Scorsese should hate. All of these pretentious film fucking nerds on TikTok who say that like Infinity War and Endgame are just spectacle, no story, blah blah blah. Those have more stories than Avatar: The Way of the Water. Those are better movies than Avatar: The Way of Water. All you pretentious fucks on TikTok, listen to me. If you dislike superhero movies, you should dislike Avatar: The Way of the Water. It is all show, no substance.
Interesting. That's a hot take. I'd say the Avengers
I made
plots
that
have all
take
been incredibly basic.
I don't even think that's a hot take. Like for the most
I'm
part,
not saying it's not basic. I think the Avengers plots are basic. I think they have a lot more to them, and maybe it's because they've built up for 20 years, and why I'm emotionally invested in those characters. And maybe I'm just cynical, but like I think you do care about those characters a lot more, and that's kind of what makes them.
I think that is just a build up over time.
That could be
They've
it.
got
Tyler,
singular films. I think that Avatar and Infinity War Endgame, the same formula is there that they follow in terms of how the story works, how the acts unfold. But with the MCU, because it's been built up so many times, you've got singular films, you're going to have more of a connection to individual characters. Of course you are, especially if you grew up with them like like Cam, like George did, you're going to have more of a connection there. But I do think that it's a very, very similar formula between the two. It's a fine line.
I will say this, though. I think Infinity War and Endgame are both better than Avatar: The Way of Water.
I would have Infinity War over it. I'd probably have this over Endgame.
That's fine. Avatar: The Way of Water sits at around the 20 spot for me on the year. If it were to be nominated for Best Picture, I would not be upset because of what technical achievements it produced.
That being said, and I don't think you have to say this, and I'm sorry, I want to kick it over to Tyler because I feel like we just keep taking his, early thoughts. But this movie, this movie looks better than Endgame and Infinity War. It simply does. Like, so if anyone like clips this, if someone clips this and like they're not the same, this is way more technically done. It is. You're right. You're very much correct. But like the Endgame and Infinity War, in my opinion, and other MCU movies in general, and God damn it, I hate going back to the MCU because everyone always does. But every time you do, I'll get roped. I will get roped right into it every time. I hate doing it, but like I think they have a lot more substance. They have a lot more characters that you're invested in. Whatever.
You do it a lot for someone that hates doing it.
I try not to, man. I swear, you people wrote me into it.
Before I get my quick non-spoiler thoughts, Cam and George, you both have it at 4 out of 5 stars, right?
Oh, yeah,
I don't think you mentioned that officially. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I don't think anyone.
I have it at 4 out of 5. Yeah,
Seth said 4 out of 5. So all of us gave it a 4 out of 5, and I've been tempted to move it up to 4.5 out of 5 because like I tweeted that I said like I genuinely think this is like clearly a better film than Wakanda Forever, and I'm debating if it's better than Top Gun Maverick, but I decided I'm not going to change any ratings because I'm literally going to see Avatar again like this upcoming week, so might as well just wait until I give it a rewatch. But yeah, I would say the story on this one's grown on me. It's definitely better than the first one. I think that's a lot. All of us, I think, agree with that. Again, I also said it's a simple plot, but I think Top Gun Maverick was a simple plot as well. One of the more fun films of the year. Banshees of Inisherin was probably one of the most simple plots I've seen in years. One of the most beautiful films of the year. I mean, it is. It's just literally about friends who are no longer friends.
Yeah, I guess it's deceptively simple, but I think it presents itself.
It has like with the war and stuff. It has like underlying emotions and shit like that. But yeah, I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah, I think it's probably deceptively simple. I get. Yeah. Is.
And then so I'd say like just getting outside of just what like movie TikTok people say. My friends all didn't really. I have some friends that love the original Avatar. But a lot of them said they give it like a 3 out of 5, and they all saw it this weekend and said like it is miles better. Like my friends, like the common people, love this movie according to what I'm hearing. Like they're just like all saying like this is absolutely incredible. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, with that, we all give it a 4 out of 5 stars, which is like a rare, like maybe the only time ever we've all given the exact same star rating for a movie.
After Sun, we all give it 5.
Oh, true, fair. Yeah. But yeah, it's rare
that it surprises me that we all give it a 4. I thought there'd be like one at like a 4.55, one at like a 3.
Right,
it's
yeah,
quite
I was surprised
movie.
We all landed there too, but we'll end it there. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it to get spoiled, we will
76 out of 100.
Cut it there.
Oh,
76, yeah, and I give it a 7.9. But again, I'm going to be re-rating it once I go see it, like probably within the next week or so with my girlfriend. And I saw it in regular, just basic ass screen, but this time I'll go see it on IMAX 3D. But now we'll get into spoiler talk. Yeah, so we'll just start with Cam. You know what? I think a good place to start is just with some of your notes. You took a lot of notes during this movie.
Yeah, I have a ton, and I'll go through them and all the big ones that I want to hit. At the start of the movie, the writing was very, hey, this is what's happened in the past couple of years, and that I thought was going to piss me off, and I said this in my review. I thought like the entire movie was going to be on the nose, and it wasn't. It was just like the very start of the movie, and then I grew to be more okay with that because it has been 13 years since the last movie. You kind of have to explain, hey, we've had these kids, we've moved on, we're enjoying our life.
I think
whatever.
There's a better way to do it though, don't you? Like,
yeah, probably. Honestly, for me, it feels like something you don't need to explain. Like they had kids and they're enjoying their life. Maybe I don't know how to do it. I don't know the answer. I'm not a film maker of any kind. Like I don't know the answer. I'm just saying when I see it, I notice it a little bit. And like I said, I watched this movie a couple weeks ago, and I watched it Thursday during the day.
Avatar.
Yeah, sorry, the original Avatar. I watched it just to catch up, see where we were at. So that kind of is like right on my mind. I said this. I don't give a fuck about Jake Sully. I don't care about his character, and a lot of people commented on my review saying like, how can't you care about his character? He's an ex-Marine. He gave up his life for this. He hated his life. Do you know how easy it is to give up your life and go to a different life when you hate your fucking life? He didn't have any movement in his legs anymore. He was glad to be an Avatar. So yeah, he got the better half, and it feels like he just falls his way upwards. And that just kind of continued into this movie for me. I don't necessarily care for his character. The plot point that I said I had issues with in the story, I said this movie is very Sun gets in trouble, people get captured or something goes wrong, Jake gets mad at Sun tries to fix problem, rinse and repeat. I swear that happens like 3-4 times during this movie.
It's the formula. It's in so many films.
That's fair, but I thought that specific, like, Sun goes into jungle where they see
it happened more than once.
What's the bad guy's name? I don't even know.
Colonel, whatever.
Yeah, Colonel. They see him, they get in trouble because they get captured. Spider gets captured. And then later in the movie, they go off and they beat up the new Avatar blue people. They get in trouble. And then later he tries to make it up. Ghost talks to this big old whale thing that he's best friends with now, gets in trouble for that. It just happened a lot in this movie. It kind of upset me. It's not like something I'm freaking out about by any means. I don't know where we want to go, like, spoiler wise. Like I said, I have a ton of notes, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, maybe more spoiler wise.
Yeah.
Like some random things you've already mentioned. So, well, first off, you just brought up Spider. So I know some people are like really criticizing his performance, saying it was awful. I don't think it was nearly like the kid in Black Adam bad. Like, it was nowhere near that. I didn't really have a problem with it. Like, Spider, that, like, I mentioned this like I tweeted about this and like texted you guys it, but like that kid, when he was filming this movie, he was like 15 and 16, and this dude just straight up, like, everyone else is CGI'd, and this dude's like straight up real naked for the whole time, which, like, it's a 3-hour movie, but you have to imagine like how many months on set this like 15, 16-year-old kid's just naked. I'm like, that's like impressive. Like, to have that confidence and like just be able to just be straight up naked for like probably legitimately like what 2 to 3 years of your life, just on set for 2 to 3 years, just butt ass naked. That's just kind of, and he went for, like, he'd never been in anything. The only thing he was ever in before this is Avengers Endgame, and what his role was kid on a bike. So he was just like a background.
Was he the guy who's when Scott goes back or forward in time, I guess, to see his daughter? Oh, is that who the kid is? Interesting. Yes. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
But yeah, that dude was pretty, like, his acting like didn't really take me out. Yeah. But like I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was like amazing or anything. But again, he was like a 15-year-old kid. But he was pretty badass. I thought, like, he's clearly like has to be like a gymnast or some shit. Like, I know a lot of it's like stunt work, but I mean, the dude clearly like is like a in shape dude that's able to do some pretty cool stuff.
He did quite annoy me, but not in the way of his performance. I just think he was written, his dialogue was terrible at times.
Yeah.
And the scene when he was like, he'd just been captured by his dad, whatever, and he's like banging on the window, throws a chair at the window. I just thought that was quite cringe, to be honest. And like kind of the things he was shouting, it was like, and I think it comes with bad dialogue when it's like he's always saying what he's feeling, if that makes sense, and he's always trying to get that across to an audience. That for me just comes across as, we know this, we don't need to hear this from his mouth. But I don't think he was necessarily bad. I don't think he was, I think he was fine. Like you said, it's very early on in terms of career role and stuff like that. I don't think he's a bad actor. I just think that just comes down to the issue with the dialogue, and I think that's the case for, I often think a lot of people think a performance is bad without realizing his script is just not very good. And it's quite hard to make a good script look, bad script look good, if that makes sense. But I don't know. I just think he was kind of cringe at times. That's
one person I think is a big culprit of their performance or the script being really bad for them, which I think ties back to the original Avatar, is the worst character in the original Avatar for me was Sigourney Weaver. I thought when I rewatched the original Avatar, I was like, her dialogue is awful. I don't know if it's the dialogue that she's written or her performance, but she was by far the worst thing for me in the original Avatar. And then I felt it the same in the second one as well.
Every time I listened to her, I was like, I am picturing a fucking 73-year-old woman doing a child's voice. It is so weird. It's like, why would they recast it? Surely they can just spend millions less on an actual 14-year-old actor to do the fucking role.
Have they ever said why they start? Like,
how much do you? No, James Cameron said he hired her again because she had childlike qualities. Hire a fucking child. It doesn't. How much do you think she cost, like, to do that role? Like realistically,
5 million? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much would a 14-year-old who's actually like a decent voice actor-
$5.
There you
a
go.
lemonade stand.
There's probably like some reason, but that was just the weirdest. And she just I love Sigourney Weaver, but it was fucking weird. Like it's so strange to hear that. And I
like,
kept thinking every
the
time.
news came out that she visited high school classes to prepare for her 14-year-old role. Just a weird move. Cam, what was your rule of thumb you said for visiting high school now?
Oh yeah,
30.
I said if you're 30 years old, you have no reason to be in a high
But
school for longer
you can
than
get
a week.
held back in.
Okay, if you're held back to that point, I think it's time, unfortunately, to go to a community high school. But like, unless you're a teacher, don't go around high schools if you're 30 plus, or your child is there and you're maybe at a basketball game or like a parent-teacher conference. Just you have no reason to be there.
It is Sigourney Weaver. I'd probably.
I'll give you 3 hours so you can go to a basketball game. But like, leave me alone. I'm fucking 15. Get out of here, old woman. It's just like, yuck. Get away from us.
Yeah, I guess this could have been covered in the non-spoiler section too. Whatever, it's not really a spoiler, but a common, not comparison, but like that I've seen made. But what I'm hearing from people, it reminds me a lot of what I heard when Dune came out. Is I heard a lot of people in reviews say when Dune came out, they're like, "Oh my god, I don't give a fuck about this desert. Like, stop just showing me the desert for 20 minutes spans over like the entire thing." Hearing like it's just giving me a lot of flashbacks to that with like the Avatar: The Way of Water, where people. Whereas like for me, I love like. And I do think Avatar did it even longer than Dune, but I didn't even care in Dune or Avatar. Like, I just thought it was so fun to look at that just, I don't care. Like, if you're a filmmaker with that cool of a set and, like, cinematography, show it to me. But I know a lot of, like, the general audience when Dune came out was upset, and same with Avatar. But, and again, this is not a hot take, but this is, like, genuinely, like, a perfect movie technically and, visually and audio-wise. Like, the score, the sound effects. There was never, like, a single scene where I'm like, oh, you could have put a couple extra million into this to make it look a little better. Like, no, like everything genuinely looked incredible. But yeah,
do we want to hit them? Do we want to kind of? I feel like this is a big movie that we should kind of like go through like beat for beat, kind of a like.
Yeah, I think Cam, you can keep going through your notes, and we'll just break off from there and like talk about.
I was just going to mention off Tyler's point. I actually weirdly enjoyed the second act more than the first, and I know that's like something which is quite surprising because obviously, let's be honest. It was just a visual showcase, but I don't know. It was James Cameron being James Cameron, but I really enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed them going to this. We can move on to this obviously in a bit, but going to this other area, experiencing this kind of other culture of people, I guess. I found the first act just to be very amazing visual, but just incredibly predictable. I mean, the film was predictable. Yeah, I enjoyed the second act a little bit more than the first, which is probably a popular opinion.
I'll put some more structure to it. So we'll break this up into the thirds. So the first third of the movie is because the original Avatar came out in 2009. So 13 years later, we're going back to Pandora, and James Cameron said that the real time is the same as the movie theater time. So 13 years has passed within Pandora at this point. So the amount of time we've been waiting is the amount of time has passed. Jake Sully and Neytiri, they have kids, they have a family, they've been enjoying life. It's been mostly peaceful since the original Avatar and the war broke out. But since then, in the background, the Colonel and the rest of the Marines have been strategizing, planning, developing technology, developing their avatar bodies. What, Cam?
I have a question.
Yeah.
This was my question that I said I was going to ask the other day. Did we know humans were the villain of this again? Did I miss that in like trailers and everything? I was like quite.
It wasn't in the trailers, but
I think it was like yes, everyone just
it was implied.
Okay. I thought it was like Avatar v Avatar, and that kind of bummed me out. I was like, I don't care about these sky people anymore. Like, none of the villains are really all that, emotionally. I'm not really emotionally connected to any of them, and we'll go over it in my notes later on in the movie. But I sent you guys my like live notes of the end battle. But yeah, I didn't know the humans were the villains of it, and I was like, it kind of feels.
Once we get to talking about the third act, we'll talk about the villain and where we think it could go from there, and where we want it to go from there. But so first act, everything's going peaceful, but the sky people and the Marines have been training, they've been developing their avatar bodies and preparing to come back and seek revenge on Jake Sully, take over Pandora once again, and finally put an end to this whole conflict that's been going on. So they officially come back to Pandora. That's when, like Cam mentioned earlier, the kids and the family meet up and are kind of sneaking up on them and end up getting captured. So the whole first third of this movie is really putting you back into Pandora, telling you all what's been going on the past 14 years, showing that the Sky People are now back, and then conflict ensues, and because of this, Jake Sully and Neytiri and their family have to leave where they have been on Pandora and go and meet what we have in the second act of where they meet the other blue people. But before we get to that second act, that's my overall just quick recap of the first act. What am I missing there? Is there anything we want to dive into with the quick first third of this movie that's just kind of recapping everything and reintroducing the Sky People versus Avatar conflict?
I think that's everyone's, or at least everyone that I've seen, is just like common criticism of that first act. It is so rushed. There's so much exposition. It feels so hectic. Like right from that first shot, we're like back in. We're right back in. Shit is going on.
They don't have to try and just push what we've already know.
I get it. It's been 13 years. Obviously, there's going to be a whole new generation of people watching Avatar 2 that may not remember Avatar 1 as well as we do. But yeah, it felt like by the end of Act 1, it was like catch your breath. Like
I didn't mind Act 1, but I
didn't mind it.
I only have one note from Act 1, and this is so very classic. I must leave to protect everyone. I'm certain he's going to ruin someone else's life now. That was my note. That was my note. So I was correct.
People getting upset with like me and other people saying that like the screenplay isn't that strong here. We could pick apart so many like just common tropes this movie goes through.
Yeah. This for me, and you guys talked about it with Top Gun though, like this for me is where I don't necessarily like mind them as much. And Top Gun especially, like I really like Top Gun. I think it's one of the better movies of the year, but it's almost where I'm not there to see a story. The story's not great, and it's not the best movie ever because of that, but I think I'm there to see the visuals, and I think a lot of people agree with it, but I don't think that gives it a pass necessarily. It's just not something that upsets me as much.
Yeah, I think like going off what George said, people were in my comments, I'm sure they were with George like in review as well, and probably both of you guys, like saying how we said, the screenplay isn't that good, the script isn't that good, whatever. We still give it a 4 out of 5. Which, considering how many negatives we took from the film in terms of how many tropes it used, how the dialogue wasn't great, we still had a very enjoyable experience and still gave it that higher rating, even though we had the issues with it, which says a lot about the film and how if the visuals are amazing in a lot of films, but the script is not great, it's going to push it down quite a lot for you, like it did with the original Avatar for me. But considering we all give it a 4 out of 5, that's a very good score.
I agree with what Cam said. Like, even though we're watching this movie, and same thing with Straw Hat's video, we're watching this movie to look at what James Cameron was able to accomplish. At the same time, I'm not giving this movie a pass because of that. Like,
otherwise, it'd be a 5-star. Or
exactly. Like the screenplay to me is still very important. That's how I weigh rewatch value. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna rewatch this movie probably as many times as I would something else because I just didn't care for it. It was a great theater experience for what it was. I had a blast watching what was going on screen and watching what James Cameron is capable of. I will probably never rewatch this movie.
You're not going to watch it like the Batman, then?
No, definitely not.
I just want to put out to people listening, George has watched the Batman 6 times already. That is wild to me.
That's not why. It absolutely clears Avatar.
No, it's just the length that it's 6 times. To watch a 3-hour plus film 6 times since February. That's a lot. That's good going. I quite respect it, to be honest.
So
rolling into the second act.
Rolling into the second act. So the whole second act is when they're meeting. I'm sorry. What's the name of the other blue people? I didn't write it down.
The Water Tars.
The Water Tars.
Okay.
Wait, is that their actual name?
It's not actually. That's
I know, but
name for it. But
it's just funny because these are fake made up people. But yeah, so
I think they're just avatars.
The water
as well.
people.
But
they're the water people. Wow.
They're racist avatars towards other. Dude, they were. And they were like, "You guys are from the jungle. You're not like us. You suck." They were, man.
It's not that colonialism.
So the second act, they go to their area in Pandora and meet up with these other people that they've never really encountered before. They're the people of the water versus the people of the forest, and very classic. Like when two different cultures they look different, they act different, they are different, come together. There's going to be some butting heads. And throughout this whole time, basically Jake Sully and Neytiri and their family are running away from the Sky People that are trying to hunt them down and find them, even though it's inevitable that they're going to end up finding them. But while they're there with the Water People, they have to figure out how to live because they have a totally different lifestyle. The Water People have bigger tails that help them swim better. They have different animals that they use to the Jungle People had those, birds they're flying around on, dragons are flying around, whereas the Water People have these more water-based. They can hold their breath way longer. Like their whole like genetics and everything they do and the way they've adapted their landscape is completely different.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much the whole second act is learning how to adapt to this and assimilating with the culture, going, you know, with they're butting heads, but they have to come to a common understanding. And kind of for me, what this whole second act boils down to is it's like the polar other end of the spectrum of Prey. Whereas my biggest problem with Prey this year was she goes from just like not that great to totally competent in a snap. Whereas in this one, it's like it gave us a little too much of them training where it looked beautiful, but it's like, okay, we get it. You've officially learned how to hold your breath better. You've learned how to swim better. You've learned how to master these animals. Just maybe gave us a little too much of the development, whereas Prey gave us like none. So I'd say for me, and I think a pretty common criticism is like even people who love the movie would say the second act is what dragged the longest. And I would say I agree the second act did definitely drag because they just gave us so much of this water scenes and Sigourney Weaver just looking like she's tripping on acid, looking at these fishes and stuff at the bottom of the ocean. Like, I just like honestly like got a chuckle every time I saw her character because like everyone else just like swimming like normal, and she's just like, holy shit, this goldfish.
And then suddenly
is the
she like
coolest thing.
manages to form a bond with like.
I think what the problem was she was like the main character of this movie. Basically, like she had this connection to the water that like none of the rest of the people in her family had, and they really focused on her and that connection. And it's like kind of off-putting that it was Sigourney Weaver as this 14-year-old, and you always hear her voice, and you're like, that's just Sigourney Weaver. It doesn't look like her, which like it looks like an avatar in my opinion. I think because of how good it looks, I think that just was a bit of
younger her. Yeah.
I'm so happy I didn't know that was Sigourney Weaver until after I watched the movie.
Really? How did you miss that news?
I have no idea, but that would have.
Did we speak about this on the pod? I'm sure we did.
we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pay attention.
I mean, that's a better way to go into it because
that would have lowered the movie as a star for me if I had known that.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say, I really like the design of the like other avatars, whatever they're called, the water tars. Like it was so cool. It's so cool that they're like a lighter blue because they're always in the sun. Their tails are stronger because they swim with them. They can hold their breath longer, but like you can learn to do that. I don't know if there were any other distinct like differences. Oh no, they have 5 fingers because they're human, not
the bigger tails. I don't know if you also mentioned that, but
I did mention that, but that's I liked that a lot.
The second act, then, just kind of going off of what Tyler said, James Cameron was showing off like crazy. I feel like he completely pushed like the overall plot with the sky people to the background, and he was like, "Let me just show you what I'm capable of." I loved it.
I think it's good.
And
it's
the whole
slow.
We are in spoilers. Doesn't matter. The whole sequence where one of Jake Sully's sons goes out like past the reef with the boys, and they like leave him obviously, and he meets the giant whale thing. I nearly shed a tear when like the lights dimmed and the whale thing like glowed up and shit. That was beautiful.
Can we talk about what led to that moment? The fight scene.
The most cliche high school bullies I've ever seen.
He was like, "I've got fingers," and he was like putting him down.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? Come on.
That was bad.
So Jake Sully's kids hate the fucking chief master of these other avatars kids, and guess what?
They were bullying.
They become friends.
Sigourney Weaver's character, weren't they?
Yeah,
and then
they become friends like 5 minutes later.
Well, and then we have to. This is a note I mentioned. So after they fight, this is another what I mentioned. Jake Sully's kid gets in trouble, and then Jake makes him. In this situation, Jake makes him go apologize to the kids, and they are like, "Hey, you want to come hunting outside of the reef with us?"
And they're like winking to the.
Yeah. But then I wrote down, "This way, I know a good spot." That's a direct quote, and then. Hey, dumbass, these kids are looking at each other winking, and you're looking at them while they do this.
Cam, do you make these notes whilst you're watching the film?
Yes.
I would.
Seth hates that. Yeah.
I would.
Bro, I dim my phone. My theater was. I sit in the very back row. My theater was not packed. There was no one within 2 seats of me.
Do you ever like just scroll social media whilst you're watching the film? I feel like you would.
A film not like this, yeah, probably at some point.
Like in Amsterdam, because I think
so. Like Tyler, when he was texting about me pissing, like I saw all those. I don't know. I didn't reply to give you satisfaction. Yeah, I mean, I could see the movie. It's right there. I don't know the last time I've ever watched a movie without looking at my phone.
But yeah, going back to that scene where he was ditched and left kind of to die, basically. I don't know if it's just like the IMAX effect of being in a theater, because so for me, I saw this on a basic ass screen, but I knew that, so I was like, I actually went in like the front, like, you know how there's like the front part of the theater that no one sits in. I sat in that because I was like, I want to just, I'm not at IMAX, but let's like make it quasi IMAX. When and it happens like twice in the movie when they're like drowning underwater and they do like the heartbeat effect, like it actually made me like claustrophobic almost, like hearing like them not being able to breathe, and like it was just the loud speakers that like heartbeat. I was literally like, fuck, like just get the air. Like I was like, oh my god.
Drowning just sounds so scary. Like it made me a bit like on edge.
The drowning scenes were like making me like, those were intense. But yeah, so what else do we want to go into the second act? Because I think we all agree it's drawn out, and I don't want to make this portion of the pod drawn out, talking about how drawn out it is.
No, we don't. I don't.
You didn't think it was too long?
Like it, yeah.
No, I didn't. I definitely get where you're coming from, but I actually just really enjoyed the visuals, and I could have watched that for longer. I didn't actually think it was drawn out. I enjoyed the second act more than I did the first.
I'm sorry, I know we probably already asked this a million times. Seth, did you see it in 3D or were you just normal?
Yeah,
I saw it in 3D, but a normal screen.
Oh, you did. Fuck yeah.
So and then I went to the front like you did, because I was like, I want to try and get the best experience with it. Yeah, I liked the second act.
I'll go through my notes of the second act. Like I bet the son bonds with this Y-mouth shark guy, and that's how he gains respect. And then there's a there's always a bigger fish moment. So James Cameron's stealing that from Star Wars. No. But yeah, so then he bonds with the bigger fish. Jake Sully is the worst dad in cinematic history. Just sucks. Always getting mad at his kids.
No, Home Alone dad.
Maybe not the worst, but he's one of the worst. I guess I wrote. Zoe Saldana took just one of the biggest back seats in this movie. Just leave her character out. She's not in this middle section. It
was
feels
weird.
Which I like her character a lot more than I like Jake Sully, so I was a little bummed about that. What's the point of these fish that can like half fly? I just ride the other ones. They both can jump out of the water just as high. The like fish that kind of fly, but their tails are still in the water. Yeah, it's just, I guess they're faster, but what's the point? Is this the second act where they get into the Colonel and this like whale ship that's hunting these big ass?
I don't consider anything of the Colonel's second act. I consider the third.
Okay. So my next note is third act, so we can get into that.
One thing about the second act, and I said this about Strange World, the new animated movie that came out this year. Whoever did these creature designs was on some drugs. There was some weird fish floating around that ocean for a little bit.
I'll be honest. They look. I like dinosaurs a lot. They look a lot like they're like old dinosaurs.
Yeah,
like that. So I think they just guessed. Doesn't matter. Continue
like
to the third act. I do like dinosaurs.
All right, let's get to this.
Second act is done. Third act is when I consider the second act to be done basically once the conflict's reintroduced, and at this point the two different species of blue people are, they're not exactly symbiotic, but they both have come to a common understanding of each other's cultures and realize that they have to band together if they want to defeat this threat. And this is when the Colonel and the Marines and the people on the boats are coming back in. The main conflict is, of course, the main Colonel trying to kill Jake Sully, and he goes to great lengths where he's like literally about to just cap people in the head to be like, you got to tell me where these people are. I'm just going to kill people. But at the same time, there's also kind of a second conflict going on that I want to talk about when we're done with talking about the third act, that I think actually might be where the third, fourth, and fifth, like the bigger conflict might come from, of this liquid that basically prevents aging, that they're trying to
My comment on that was, yeah, fucking course it does.
Yes. But I think that's going to be where like the ultimate and next conflict might go, is just because that's going to be every rich person in America is going to want that.
Like a Black Panther.
That to me
what's the thing about Panther?
Vibranium. Yeah, it's a very much a vibranium type
that thing, to me is just as bad as calling something fucking unobtainium. You can't obtain it.
I mean, you. Why? What is it called? Is it called something corny?
No, it's not called anything, but he's like, this liquid makes you live forever. Yeah,
Cam, that's vibranium.
Of course it
does.
Vibranium does not make you live forever. Vibranium makes you stronger when it's the heart-shaped herb makes you stronger. No, I'm not mad about the substance of unobtainium.
Who are you arguing with here? You're arguing with yourself.
I'm mad about the name unobtainium.
That's not the name, though.
In the first movie, the fucking metal that they're going after is called unobtainium.
Okay.
To not be obtained. How are you going to obtain it?
All right. Okay. Well, we're done with that. But so the third act has some of the greatest action sequences I may have ever seen in a theater. Like the ones that immediately stick out is like when that dude's arm gets like caught by the rope and then gets ripped off. You
awesome.
didn't? Are you saying that in a bad
really
way or a
good.
good
I
way?
really
I thought that was sick.
No, that was sick. Like my theater
I liked
applauded.
That
for
looked
That
insane.
was, yeah, that was
'Cause, like,
crazy.
This
Okay.
is a New York thing, isn't it, George? The applauding in theaters. I saw like Sophie's.
Dude, I
Let's Watch
swear.
No, it's just every person
It's
not
just
in
ev-
UK.
Ever since No
Really?
Way Home, people applauded People just are more comfortable
Yeah.
with like applauding
Yeah.
things.
Dude,
I've
that
never had this.
that shot
ever.
was so sick, and I feel like this movie, this movie truly pushed the boundaries of PG-13 because you get a little bit of nipple in the beginning, you get one F-bomb from Spider, you get literal limbs being decapitated. Like this, like I feel like was actually very close to like an R rating because it gets graphic in the
No.
third act.
Do you
I mean,
think-
nudity, F words, and decapitated limbs. Like that's all in this movie.
I mean, there's no full nudity.
Hey,
you get.
you
I
want-
saw
And
full
decapitated
Avatar
limbs was
nipple
done
in the
like-
first scene.
The limbs thing was done in like a. It wasn't very graphic, was it?
No.
Really?
On Tyler's point of nipples, you want to know how cool James Cameron is? The one body part that he insisted Na'vi have, breasts. Sick, James Cameron. Way to just make sure they have tits. Good job, dude.
Okay,
That's his direct quote: "Is they should have tits."
But yeah, the action sequences with the boat scenes, just whether it's from like the small like U-boats that are driving around or like the major like ship that's like sinking at the end, like all the action sequences of the third act were absolutely incredible, jaw-dropping. The third act to me was easily the best act of the film, and
Yeah.
I really have like no negatives for it, like except maybe like some of the plot lines. But I mean, in terms of like what the movie was already leading up towards, so, like we already knew what the screenplay was. And
We already know. You can't give a negative when we already know that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we know what to expect at this point. We're not expecting like A-class writing. Like, there's nothing I can mark negatively on the third act. So I'll kick it over to you guys for what you want to talk about or Cam, any of your notes. But for me,
What
the
did
third
you
act was
think-
basically peak action.
What did you think of the Doctor guys? Oh, not doctors. What were they? Like the Australian guys?
They reminded me of Charlie Day's character in Pacific Rim,
I didn't like.
yes.
them.
I
where
didn't
like
mind
we're
them.
supposed to be
They
geniuses.
kind of
but they really-
annoyed me.
they come off as stupid idiots.
The saddest part of the movie for me actually was the whale dying. That was like hard to watch for me. That
That
was
was
fucking
sad.
sad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. I care about the animals a whole lot more than I care
No, but
shit about
everyone always cares about animal deaths more than
Yeah.
human deaths in
Oh, yeah.
films because it's always like that, isn't it?
Mhm.
the Avatar. My big issue with the third act, and this felt like they got tied up. What? 3-4 times in the third act, they got captured, then escaped,
And then
the girls got
someone comes,
captured
grab
again. And
yeah.
every time I'm getting so mad because it's not the Colonel, it's the who plays the other villain in this movie. I don't even know
Which
but
one?
He's the guy who plays a character in Daredevil, George. He plays the barber, or not the
Yeah.
barber, the suit maker. But whatever. He's the other villain, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
They even
And-
made a joke about that. The little girl said "handcuffed again" or something like
Yeah,
that.
no, yes, and I have that written down, dude. I fucking hate when
Even
movies
I was
try,
like,
try to be
just-
self-aware,
Yeah,
and it's
I-
like it's not cool to be self-aware. Like, I don't know. I probably
Sorry,
should be
Marvel
self-aware
films
all
do
the
that
time.
all the time.
I know they do. And
I will say
I just get
about the
irate.
third act to divert from a conversation about handcuffs. I like the third act the best, and I think visually it succeeded on every level. It's exactly what I think James Cameron wanted to and set out to achieve. When it got dark, like the daylight in that scene, and it's like the final battle of like Jake and the Colonel, and then they're trying to escape. That was mind blowing, especially when Sigourney Weaver's character was like doing that light shit going around.
Mhm.
I was sitting there. I felt like I was high as fuck. But also the third act, and I have my screenplay issues. I don't care for the characters as much as I wanted to, especially the villain. Holy fuck, could I not give a shit about him?
Yeah.
It did feel like the only act that had genuine stakes. It was the only act that like genuinely made me go, oh shit, like something is going to happen. Some shit is about to go down. Obviously, we didn't get that in the second act because the second act was just James Cameron showing off. And the first act was a lot of exposition. This third act, I think, is by far the best because the only one that genuinely made me nervous about whatever sequence of events I was about to start watching.
I to the villain point, it feels like he's trying to build this. It's Stephen Lang's the actor, and
Yeah.
should have known his name earlier, but I looked it up. It feels like he's trying to build this guy up as like a Darth Vader or a Voldemort or someone who's going to be the villain of all 6 films of how he gets. And God, I just don't care about his villain. And I sent this to George and Tyler. Seth, you hadn't seen the movie yet, but I wrote, motherfucker, if this guy's the 3rd movie villain, I swear. And then I wrote, oh, good, never mind, because Jake Sully goes, let's end this right now. And then I wrote, Jesus Christ, never mind again. Because they save him, the son, Spider, who's the only good human in this. He saves him at the end because he's like the son of Stephen Lang's human character. And God,
what do we think about that scene? What do we think about him saving at the end?
I liked that he just left him, but also
same. I would have been really pissed if he stayed.
Yeah, I would have
if he went.
So I was pissed because he saved him, but I was like, this happens so often in movies that it's like whatever. But then when he left him, I was like, okay, at least he redeemed it a little bit there by not staying with him, because I would have been
it was more.
I actually would have been
one of those situations where it's like if he doesn't save him, then he probably feels like he killed him because he has the option to save him, and it's like. And so I think it's good that he saved him and he just left, but also he's got that bird avatar thing, and so he's going to come back for the 3rd movie.
Yeah. To that earlier point, Cam, I do think James Cameron is trying to build him up to be like the big bad of the entire Avatar universe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think
I like Stephen Lang.
It comes off almost as if like. And obviously, we know James Cameron was so focused on just putting shit on screen where he kind of lacked in like character development and shit. But it seems like he didn't want to be bothered writing like a new villain. Like when he woke up in that Avatar state, I was like, no fucking way. I was like, no way. And they tried to explain it like, oh, he's not the same person. He's not Ridley Spider's dad. Fuck you. It's the exact same person.
Yeah. All the memories, all the soul.
It's the exact same person, and he just came across so one-dimensional. He came across as just the most classic I'm on a mission villain with essentially no motives. The whole motive was I just want to kill this fucking guy. That's it. That's it.
This is, and my last 2 points are not useful in any way, but this I feel like is a fair point in my opinion. And I said like during the end when the ship is sinking, I said it doesn't feel like there are any stakes in this point because in my opinion, they can breathe underwater for 20 fucking minutes, just swim through the ship and find a way out. Like they're running from the entrance that they came to stay above water. You can swim underwater. I know she gets dragged down, but after 2 minutes in there, it'll fill up enough to where you're no longer getting pulled. It frustrated me a little bit because they can swim underwater like for 30 minutes. And Jake Sully's character, like he was described as like he was so worn down that he couldn't breathe underwater. That's fine. I think there were stakes for him. I don't think there were stakes for Neytiri and fucking Kiri.
There was one instance, and this is just me being nitpicky now. It truly, I was sitting there. I almost started yelling at my screen. It was the scene where Jake and his son are standing across the bad guy, holding the daughter like a knife to her throat. Spider and Zoe Saldana's character were right behind him, and he had no idea. He had zero clue that they were literally 10 feet behind him hiding. They could have stabbed him, shot him, hit him. They could have done.
I know what you're referring to.
They could have done anything except walk around him and say, "Please don't do this."
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It bothered me so much.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
A knife through his head. Something. He had no clue they were. 10
I agree. They
him.
should. The only thing I can like think of is like, and again, this comes back to just like the negativity of we just didn't get enough Neytiri to know where her motives or emotions lied. But like, if it was just because like her losing her kid, like truly made her like where she like legitimately was like so like killing Spider, like I will do this to save my kid. But again, we didn't get enough Neytiri to know where her head was at that point. How much is she attached to?
I kind of like that
Spider compared to I didn't mind as much, but I get what you're saying, George, 100%.
I remember it now,
and I think that kind of goes back to just we didn't get enough of Neytiri to know where her mind state was at that point.
Sorry, is that Sigourney Weaver's character? I can't remember.
No, the Zoe Saldana's. The mother.
Yeah. After that sequence where Zoe Saldana's character takes Spider with the knife to his throat, I am surprised Spider like went along with them I would have been like, absolutely not.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like what just happened? Like you just put a knife to my throat and you sliced my chest open. Like I'm not going with you anymore. It was very odd that he was just like.
It was a daughter though. I kind of get it. Like you would.
Yeah,
No, but
they didn't
from
like,
Spider's
they didn't
perspective-
like him at the start of the movie.
That's why I'm
don't
kind of
know.
like. That's why I do think. Like I'm again, the writing. I'm not trying to defend it because I didn't think it was great, but that's why I think the final scene where he's like with his dad, and I was like, I genuinely didn't know if he's gonna stay with his dad or not because like I feel like he was
same,
given reasons to leave those people because like so that's why like that scene I like genuinely was like I didn't want him to go with the dad because I'm like, oh, this is stupid, but like they're truly I feel like at that point I was truly uncertain where he was gonna go because she didn't stab him, but she still sliced him across the pecs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say like if you've made it through this again is just I'm so biased on this movie probably just because like but I feel like my score is pretty where it should be. I mean, we all agree it's a 4 out of 5. Mine's lower. I'm at a 76 out of 100. Like I said,
Well,
these points like don't upset me, or they probably do upset me. But I think it's just the visuals are so damn good, and I think the story is good enough to make this a good movie. I don't. It's not great, but it's good enough in my opinion. I'm just very biased in the fact that I dislike James Cameron, and I think he's a jackass. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah. What's that?
You might not have this off the top of your head. How many Marvel films do you think you rated higher than this?
Probably 20 out of the 28. I guess.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be that far off either. I mean, I'm probably,
Really?
I'd probably.
No,
I
don't think you have that many.
Here's an absurdly hot take that I know you guys are going to disagree with, and as I think about it,
me. Probably if it's Marvel.
No, it's not about Marvel.
Okay.
This for me is pretty similar to The Lion King that came out in like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. 2019. Yeah, it might be even more recent. Where it is like The Lion King and this, like they're beautiful. They're an incredible. It's insane how good they look. You know, like The Lion King, in my opinion, looks like one of the best. But it has different problems, but I have them around the same score where The Lion King kind of feels like it has no soul. I don't care that it's a remake or it's the same exact plot because it's a remake. So obviously it's going to have the same exact plot. But it has no soul to it. So I don't think it's great, but I have that at a 75 and this at a 76.
Really?
Where, yeah, like I
have that a lot lower. Like
I think a lot of people do, but I just give it so much benefit for just how fucking good it looks, in my opinion. And I think that's the same with this. And maybe I should drop that score a little bit. I don't know if I've watched it since I think I saw it twice in theaters. You know how I feel about the original Lion King, so I wanted to really love it, but I don't know if I've watched it since then. I go back to the original.
I didn't realize you had it that high because I would have thought you would have had it a lot lower because of how much you love the original.
It's insane how good it looks, you know, and I just agree with that.
Just lacks everything the original had for me.
I don't necessarily disagree.
If I ranked The Way of Water among Marvel movies, I would have it sitting at 12.
I think that's fairer than 20.
I think
I threw out a random number. Let me check.
I would throw it right above Spider-Man: Homecoming, but I wouldn't put above like Shang-Chi, Black Panther, Iron Man. Ragnarok,
I think that's pretty much about where I would rank it too.
Yeah,
right about.
So I haven't seen all of them, so I can't obviously. I think I'd have about 6, but I haven't seen Phase 4.
Because again, and you guys know this about me, everyone weighs their ratings differently. Whether you try to rate it as objectively as possible, whether you want to include your personal enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I weigh rewatch value fairly high.
Which is why I thought it was crazy when you're going to lower the Batman from a 5. I was like, George, you've seen it 6 times. You can't lower it from a 4.
I agree.
But like, here's one thing, and this might piss off, I don't know, some Marvel people. I think Avatar: The Way of Water is objectively a better film than Spider-Man: No Way Home. Are we agreeing or disagreeing with that?
I would agree.
Can I give my point?
I disagree.
But here's the thing. I am ranking Spider-Man: No Way Home higher than Avatar: The Way of Water.
Which is 100% fair.
Because I will never rewatch The Way of Water. I've rewatched No Way Home like 4 times.
Hold on, Seth, you had a point?
Here we go. It's not better than Barry Lyndon.
No, well, that's I will not go into this argument because I know where this will go. I'm so sorry. I don't think it's possible to give an objective rating on a film. Hear me out. No, hear me out.
No, I agree on that.
I think you can. So, like, we know film as like what's good about film. You know, the pacing, cinematography, performance, etc. But I think they're kind of biases of what we think are good about film, if that makes sense. So like I think that's just rating on what we perceive to be good about film. But then if you're looking at like No Way Home and what was the other one? Sorry, was it Avatar?
Shang-Chi, Avatar, yeah.
It's like those sort of markings. I get where you're coming from. I just think. So, do you think we can rate film objectively?
So
a
here,
sense.
I think the perfect example here is Tyler and Spider-Man. Did I just cut out real quick?
No, you're good.
No?
Oh, sorry. I think the perfect example here is Tyler and 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
Tyler rates it a 5 out of 5,
but he didn't
but
really.
he has mentioned that he thinks it's incredibly boring and he'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah.
But I also will say that's not to disrespect any of you. I think anyone can rate things how they want to. That's just my kind of. I value kind of that personal enjoyment so much that like I just couldn't rate something high if I didn't want to rewatch it. Like George, I value rewatchability as well. So I think at the end of the day, like everyone can rate things how they kind of want to.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good example with Tyler in like 2001 or Cam and Seven Samurai.
Yeah, to the point of like objectivity. No, you can't rate anything as objective. I try to be as objective as possible. Like in a sense, like I'd be lying to tell you I'd rather watch The Godfather over literally anything MCU. I'm just a fan of the MCU. I'd rather watch Thor: Love and Thunder than The Godfather. If I told you The Godfather was a worse movie than Thor: Love and Thunder, I'd be a fucking liar. You know, like it's something you can so clearly see, in my opinion, when you watch a movie. You're like, this is leaps and bounds better than.
So do you think you like rate things off like?
I try to, like I said, I try to be as objective as possible.
Appreciation of a film as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you rate things off like Tyler appreciates how ahead of his time 2001 was, or how influential it was. So you kind of push your rating a little bit from your appreciation. Does that make sense? So I think that comes in for a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I have. Without a doubt, I have MCU bias. But like I always say, I try to be as objective as possible. I try to see a movie and not. But you know, you'll probably won't get me. You'll have me rating Thor. I think I gave Thor: The Dark World like a 45 or something. I don't think that's a very good movie. It's around where everyone else rates it. A 48, whatever. But I also, if we were to come into this review and say Thor: The Dark World came out, I would probably not have as long of a list of notes as I just had for Avatar. I like, but I'll still say like this movie like kind of just sucked. You know, I may not be able to pick out why I think it sucked, but like you're sitting there and you're like, this kind of sucks. And that's kind of how I rate a movie. I'm sitting there and I'm like, this movie's around a 75 for me. And then I'll just go look at movies and then
I think that's a better way to do it, because I used to like try and do it where like I'd add up scores, you know, for like pacing. When I first started watching pacing, cinematography and stuff, and I think like when you start doing it at that side of things, that's when you start enjoying movies less, because you're looking for things to judge it on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we can move on.
Well, yeah.
It's 20 for me. Sorry, 21 actually.
What is? Oh, Avatar with
Avatar.
the MCU film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So before we wrap up Avatar talk, I kind of want to talk like where we think it could go from here. So I'm gonna give you guys 3 options for what like the next villain could be or where the story goes, and I want you to tell me where you guys want to go. First one, I think no one agrees on, is the Colonel to be like the Darth Vader big bad that we just continue seeing. Second option, another sky person that's like a bigger, more badder sky person or a bigger army. Or third option, because at the end of the Avatar we saw like, you know, Jake Sully and his family was like, you know what, we've like fucked up your guys' world. We're going to leave like the water people. And they're like, you know what, no, we're in this together. We're sticking together. We're sticking through with you. Would we want like a different species on Pandora that comes that's even more powerful? That's like, you know what, fuck you guys, both of you. You guys are bringing so much conflict here. We're just going to end you for ourselves. Would you rather have it be sky people full out war versus full out all of Pandora banding together? Or would you rather have an inner Pandora like civil war?
I think we all might be on the same page. Come?
I'm so done with the sky people in my personal opinion.
Okay,
I want an Avatar v Avatar fight, and we saw like these Avatar. They like it's like people in the world now. You know, like these avatars are from this different place. They don't like someone else. You know, it's I would so much rather have Avatar v Avatar. That being said, also, sorry, I have a follow-up question, but I'll give everyone everyone can answer.
Yeah, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think George, I don't know if he heard it, but I think he'll be on the same page as well. I
I
don't
didn't
really
hear
care
the
about
question.
Yeah,
I'll repeat it after
I
Seth
don't really
talks.
care about. I don't really care about the Sky people anymore. I'm not really bothered. I think having that kind of integration of two species of avatar or whatever, them kind of fighting over things. I mean, I'd echo Cam's thoughts completely. I think that would be the better way to go. To be honest, definitely.
Yeah, George. So the question is, would you rather have for the remaining conflict to be like not necessarily the Colonel, but a more bigger scale war between Sky people and all the people of Pandora? Would you rather have a totally different avatar species on Pandora be introduced that is like, you know what, like I know you guys are all kumbaya over there, but all of us over here are fucking pissed at you all for keeping on fucking up Pandora. We're gonna end you ourselves. So like different species within Pandora fighting, or would you rather have all of Pandora fighting versus all of Sky people?
Well, I mean, I think it's annoying that we kind of already know the answer because James Cameron has gone on record saying that the future Avatar movies will most likely come down to Earth. So I think the conflict between avatars and humans is going to continue. I'd much rather see Avatar on Avatar. I'd like exactly what you just said, where it's like, okay, Jake Sully's just mere presence on Pandora is really dogging the shit out of us. Like, we gotta turn into a little civil war right now. If you care about why I just got up, I just heard a massive bang outside my apartment, like to the point where it sounded like someone died. Just need to go and check that nothing in my apartment fell, but someone had to have just gotten injured for sure.
I hope
Like,
everyone's all right.
God, I just like jumped, like my heart. I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Does that? I know your apartment was on the cheaper end, but does that have a lock at least?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're fine. Hopefully, if we see George get
I
dragged
didn't
down,
realize you were being sarcastic.
Yeah.
It said cheap rel. I was like, what?
well, for New York City, like anything,
for New
It
York.
probably is, yeah.
anything under 10K a month is a steal in New York City.
Steal.
Okay, so wrapping up Avatar talk. So we're filming this a day early, so it's on Saturday. So box office hasn't come out yet. I've seen projections from 150 million to 550 million. Like it's on the lowest end, highest end. But I'll just give you a little nugget because when you're watching this Monday morning, you can see what the opening weekend was. For people that are anti-Avatar, hoping it doesn't make much money, China's COVID restrictions, like this is based off articles I've been reading. China's COVID restrictions like just got lifted, but it's still very much like, and China's like easily like one of the biggest markets, maybe the biggest market for movie watching. So their COVID restrictions might damper. Also, another thing that might lower box office sales is one thing that was like kind of just interesting from just like a business perspective is IMAX showings across America are like completely full, sold out, or like hard to get tickets to, whereas regular showings aren't so much. So people are theorizing like people are just going to wait for future weeks and see it in IMAX rather than just seeing it on a normal screen because IMAX screenings are in major cities basically impossible to get into. And then people on the pro Avatar making money side can say that Titanic didn't have amazing opening weekend. Avatar 1 didn't have amazing opening weekend. But what we've seen time and time again from pretty much every James Cameron film is it has staying power in the box office more than any other movie.
I think this escalates over time. This is going to be in theaters for a while.
Yeah.
This is going to be ones that... we should mention we're recording this on the Saturday, so there might be something that we obviously usually record on a Sunday.
You'll already know what the results for Monday, but there will be staying power to this. And kind of like what I also tweeted is like people that are more our age might not understand, but like my dad and my friends' dads don't give a fuck about the MCU, but they're all talking about Avatar. So like I think people our age sometimes get like narrow scoped that like people my dad and their age, they're all going to the theater to see Avatar, but they couldn't name literally 2 Avengers. Like they don't give a fuck about those movies, don't know about those movies. So the demographics are way more broad for this. So and that's just a typical demographic of people that aren't like rushing to opening weekends. They're like, oh, Avatar's in theaters, like I'll see it. I don't know, we'll go in a couple weeks, but we'll end Avatar talk there. Feel like we did the proper justice on it and went into it pretty in depth. But again, for a lot of people, this was the big movie of the year. And, a lot of people just go to 1 or 2 movies a year. This will be one of those movies that they're going to see this year. But before we get into some trailers and news, anyone else been watching anything of note this week? George, what have you been watching other than Avatar: The Way of Water?
I've been catching up on a lot. This is also between November and December for me. I haven't seen like a lot of bad movies. I've only rated 4 movies in November and December combined below 3 stars, which is kind of crack. Yeah,
like new movies, or you're just saying like the movies you're watching in general? Have just been
every movie in general I've been watching. I finally watched The Silent Voice, which is another anime film that a lot of people have been asking.
Is that related to your name, or is it not?
No, it's not.
People keep telling me to, or is that might be a different film? I think it's fine.
The animation style is very similar, so I can understand the confusion. But no, they're not related anyway. But please watch this movie. It made me.
If you like Your Name, you probably will like this kind of thing.
Exactly. It made me absolutely cry. I also watched another anime film last night called Akira, which was pretty cool. It takes place.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very futuristic, science fiction-y. It was very awesome. And then I finally watched Decision to Leave.
Nice.
Which is in my top 4 of the year.
What did you rate it?
A 4.5 out of 5.
Same as me, yeah.
I absolutely love the movie. I think the one thing that just holds it back from a 5 out of 5. Slight spoilers, so if you haven't seen Decision to Leave, maybe just skip ahead like 44 seconds. There's like one point where there's like a little time jump in the movie, or not a time jump, but like there's a very clear split of like something happening, and then we're at like a completely different point. That kind of threw me off a little bit, and that's the only thing that holds it back from a 5 out of 5 for me. But other than that, it's in my top 4 of the year, and I absolutely fucking adored it.
Top 4?
Yeah.
Really? So have you only got 3 films out of 5 then?
That's it, just 3.
Oh, okay. I thought
Everything Everywhere After Son of Batman.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Right.
fair enough.
Seth, what have you been watching this week?
I watched Persona again for the second time in 2 weeks, which is a bit weird. I watched The Father again because I wanted Anna to watch it, and she hated me like half an hour off after because she was just crying so much.
You know what? On The Father, so you know I've re-rated all my movies that I've watched. So 500 plus movies now I've rated. The Father comes in at number 2 on my ranking list. Number 2.
I'm gonna turn off my camera, but I'll still be here just for a sec, so you can ask me. I'm just gonna be audio.
Okay.
Sorry.
I did my top 50 today. I think it comes in at like 11 for me.
Yeah.
And that's out of like 1,700, 1,600 films, whatever. I watched Inside Out. I know.
Didn't like it.
You stupid Ed.
Right,
you're
I tried.
dumb.
I really tried, and Anna, it's in Anna's top 4 on Letterboxd, so she also is with you guys. I don't know, man. I just didn't love it. I'm sorry, because you know what? I think that's the most abuse I've got on a Letterboxd review ever.
Deservedly
It was
so.
like L. This is the only incorrect opinion ever. And so I was like, whatever.
I'm about to go be one of those comments real quick.
Yeah, of course, sure. I watched Snowtown, which is a dramatization of some 90s Australian serial killings. It's very, very good, but I give it a 2-star. It was just not a nice watch at all.
Pause. What?
So no, it's like in terms of how well made it is of a dramatization of serial killings, technical ability, the shots are amazing, the score is incredible, but there is, like I said to you before, there's scenes which I can't watch in films that really put me off. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to here.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly graphic and very real, and I just didn't like it. It was too much for me. I watched Rashomon, which is the first Kurosawa I've watched, which is leading me to Seven Samurai finally, and also Run, which I know George watched. But people told me that's like the culmination of his work or something. So I should watch a few, because it's a color film, isn't it?
That's what everyone said to me before I watched Ran. It kind of feels like it's Kurosawa's just like flexing
Everything into one.
Yeah, it feels like an ode to his filmography.
And then last night,
to everyone listening, that's not a bad thing at all. I still have it at a 5 out of 5.
And that's his highest rated film, you know.
Yes, I do.
On Letterboxd anyway. And then last night I watched Hereditary for like the 4th time. It was great. I had a friend around, showed it to him the first time. He also really liked it, and every time I watch it, I just think Toni Collette, she's just so good in that film. It is a joke how well. Oh, Tyler, have you watched Hereditary?
Not yet.
You should. It's really good. Yeah, that's
I'll try out the new projector with it.
You should not, Tyler. That is the scariest fucking movie ever, Tyler. If you're just trying to dip your toes in, that's so stupid from Seth.
Actually, yes, it is.
I rewatched the Harry Potter anniversary again the other day as well.
I saw that.
I don't know why.
I was happy to see that on your Letterboxd rewatch.
It was I watched it when it came out, but then I think it hits more now. Obviously, Robbie Coltrane passed away and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me cry. It's just nice to watch.
So
I've had a pretty good week, to be honest. Pretty good week with films.
Nice, Cameron.
Yeah, this week's been pretty slow for me. Not a whole lot of watches. I watched The Swimmers. Tyler, you watched that? I didn't feel it as.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as good as you did, but I don't think it's something you're too going to be too upset about.
I moved it down to a 4.5, but it's like a 9.4 out of 10 for me.
What's it on? Is it? I mean,
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's not a Netflix original.
No, it's something from Toronto Film Festival that Netflix like bought the rights to after the film festival.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It just, man, it has. You said gotta love Sia, right? And I do love Sia. I think she makes great music, but God, it was so how do you do, fellow kids? Put a new pop song in every 10 minutes, it felt like. But and then I watched Emily the Criminal again. I really liked it.
Is that the Audrey Plaza one?
Yeah,
Aubrey Plaza. Sorry. Yeah. So I think she did a really good job. I think it's like, now that to me is a very like simple plot. Just kind of runs through the, it's very, what's going to happen. But it's still good. I really enjoyed it. And then I kind of been catching up on some Christmas movies. I watched Year Without a Santa Claus with my wife. That may have been a bit ago. I don't remember. Whatever. Banger. All time great. Not enough respect. I love that movie. And then I watched Santa Is Coming to Town. And then I also, with my kid for about 10 minutes before he got upset. Do you guys remember this? Oh shoot, what's his name? The snowman, the Frosty the Snowman. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, the animated one from when we were like kids. Did you watch that ever?
The short film, The Snowman.
No, the Frosty the Snowman.
Yes.
I'm on about the Snowman, which I will talk about in a little while.
No, so Frosty the Snowman. Do you remember that? Did you guys like that as a kid?
Yes.
I haven't watched that one.
How long do you think it is?
Anything above an hour 45 is absurd.
Yeah, it's 27 minutes.
Oh.
Wait, no, that is the one.
Then I think I'm thinking of a different movie.
No, you might be, but Frosty the Snowman, the one I remember as a kid, is 27 minutes, and I was like, what the hell? So I watched like 10 minutes of that with my kid, but then he got kind of pissed off. And then last night I texted you guys, and I was like, man, I've been seeing a lot of Moneyball things on Twitter or TikTok. That's a damn good movie. So I started watching that last night, didn't finish it. But just such a good movie.
Damn good movie, though. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So good.
Yeah, I had a pretty similar watch week to Cam here. I also watched Emily the Criminal again. Very simple. It was very quick too. Like it was like a very much like stuff happens very quick, progresses very quickly, and it was just kind of cookie cutter, but like done very well. So it's like cookie cutter done well. What?
That's a movie I rate lower than Avatar, but I have way less notes. I don't think it's as good as.
Well, also it's literally like a third of the runtime. It's like an hour 20.
My bias on Avatar, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was fine. The Swimmers, like Cam said, like I lowered it down to like a 4.5, but still like some of my favorite shots of the year. Like Cam, that scene where like they're dancing and like bombs are going off in the background was such a good juxtaposition of just like how war just ruins innocent lives, that people are just trying to like live and be kids, but just war is just like it's impossible for them to have a normal childhood in those countries. Like Syria is where they grew up. But yeah, some of my favorite like cinematography shots of the year in that one, and the two young girl actresses were very good in that as well. Watched The Quiet Girl. I quite enjoyed it. Was very much of a downer. Seth's been recommending that one highly to George and I guess Cam, but Cam, I don't know if Cam's gonna watch it. But downer movie for sure. And then also watched Prey and didn't.
Also, just want to say,
yeah, go ahead.
I watched The Quiet Girl this week, and I absolutely clipped the entire movie. Before I watched it, I texted these guys.
You did.
I was like, I sent them an entire paragraph. I said this is the most predictable movie ever, and I sent them an entire paragraph of what I thought would happen, and I was like 98% right.
The most predictable movie ever, but you gave it a 4 out of 5. It's doing something right.
I'm a sucker for emotion, and I'm not going to lie.
The last scene.
Yeah, the last scene hit me, even though I knew it was happening.
Yeah, I knew it was happening.
If anything, I think that's a positive thing to the movie. The fact that I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it still got a reaction out of me. That's a brilliantly written movie.
Very well shot. I think
it is very well shot. It is.
Yep, but that's pretty much it. I guess I watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas last night and Night at the Museum. Just fun movies, like just that I haven't watched as a kid. Fun movies with it. And Night at the Museum, like I think we all kind of knew it as a stacked cast, but like even more stacked than I remember. Like so many side characters that have like 2 lines. I'm like,
I watched
pretty big name. Yeah, a pretty big name actor just to be casually tossing out one line in this movie.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into trailers now. We don't have to go. Some of these we can just go kind of quicker through, but I think the big one, of course, is there's like 3 big ones this week, but the one that the internet was most excited about, I guess, I don't know, Barbie could consider that too. Whatever. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came out. Everyone was anticipating that for so long. Cam decided to turn on his mic or camera again because he's so excited that we're talking about this again. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, after reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting his very existence. Let's talk about it. I think, just quickly, one criticism I've seen pretty commonly about this trailer is that it didn't seem to show much more than the original trailers. People were really hyped up for this for so long for this trailer to drop, and then it was kind of a lot of rinse and repeat of the original trailer. I know Seth and I didn't love the animation at the end of the trailer, but I know this is
Just
more
the
a
end
movie.
scene.
Right, and I know Cam and George are obviously huge fans, so I'll kick it over to Cam first because he's just chomping at the bit to talk about this trailer.
Man, I don't know. What do you want me to say? It looks fucking great. I like the animation. The animation is so different because it looks like a comic book movie, or like comic book in a movie, you know, and that was kind of the draw of the first Spider-Verse movie. There were like 6 different animation styles as we've talked about. You know, over like 240 characters. It's the largest animated production of all time. Just give me all of that. It looks like Miles basically it seems like the plot is Miles does something, all the Spider-Men hate him, especially Spider-Man 2099 played by Oscar Isaac. You know, Haley Steinfeld's back. Spider-Woman played by Issa Rae. She's great, I think. You know, Daniel Kaluuya's in it as Spider-Punk. It just, you know, you get a look at like the PS2 Spider-Man if that's something you care about. I'd predict maybe they throw in like a little Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man of sorts. You know,
I thought they've already confirmed that they're back for it. Unless I got disbussing filmed. Also, I feel like with the movie that has 240 characters, I feel like it's a lot less of a big news if it's like Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire will be in this. People will be
it'll be like they're in the background or something. I bet.
Yeah.
But you know, you have like, you know, Peter B. Parker's back. I don't know. I'm excited to see Spider-Man 2099. Again, I don't read comics, so it's not something I'm super like knowledgeable about. I just like read up on things before watching a movie, which I'm excited for it. I don't know what else to say. Like kind of what you said, Tyler. Didn't give us a whole lot. It just kind of was like, hey, look how many Spider-Men we have. Check these things out. You know, that was kind of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone else can give
George?
their thoughts.
I just want to say this. I think it's hysterical that we live in like a time where people are annoyed that trailers don't give too much. Like that is the point of a trailer, to not.
It's better that way.
It's literally just to build hype. We'll get to the trailer eventually, but I think Barbie trailer actually did that very well, not giving anything away. Like, how are you upset that you don't like? Do you want to go into the movie knowing everything? Either way, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is, in my mind, the second greatest comic book film of all time. There's absolutely no.
Oh, Dark Knight. Okay, I agree. I'm with you.
Thanks.
Sorry.
There's absolutely no reason for me to believe that this won't be at least a good to great film. I think it's a tall task juggling 240 characters, 6 different animation styles. But there's also no reason for me not to trust them after what they gave us in Into the Spider-Verse.
Very fair. Seth, anything to add, or should I just move on?
I'm excited for it. Into Spider-Verse is one of the only superhero films, one of the very few superhero films I've 5 out of 5. I really liked it. I didn't, like I said, Tyler said, I didn't love the animation style at the end, but that's just me.
Just news on. I watched Spider-Verse the other day. I watch Spider-Verse all the time, though. Not the other day. At this point, it was probably like a month ago. That movie is the closest to being a fucking 100 out of 100 for me. I just love it so much.
What, closest you've got one?
Like, it's a 99 out of 100. It's like
what
it's like the
100?
closest I've been. Like I've said, all my 100 out of 100s, I feel like I have like also a personal connection to. That's probably, I think they're amazing. Other than probably Seven Samurai, I don't know.
Where's the lack of personal connection when you just said you watch this movie all the time, but it doesn't have a personal connection?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the 100 out of 100 is something I don't know if I'll ever throw another movie.
I think you should switch. You speak about Spider-Verse a lot. I think you should switch that and Seven Samurai.
No, I can't. I can't move Seven Samurai down. When I watch that thing, like that's a movie I don't watch. I guess I've only seen it once. I guess, and it's so perfect. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. You just watch it, and it's fucking perfect.
I'll watch it next week.
Yeah,
I'll probably watch it next week and give it like a 3-star. So,
but I don't know. Maybe I'll move Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse up. I always say like I don't think Kingpin's like the best villain ever, and I say that's kind of where I take it down.
Really, I really liked him into Spider-Verse.
Oh, I like him.
Is it a hot take to say Into the Spider-Verse clears the Lion King?
I think that's.
I mean, it's
easy.
not. It's the second.
I think that clears the Lion King. Like,
They're both a 5 out of 5 for me, so don't worry.
Bro, Lion King's like 20th on my list, and Spider-Verse is like 3rd or 4th or something.
I texted Cam this week that Lion King has been removed from my top 10 animated films because of a silent voice.
I called him a whore for that.
You did call me a whore for that. It's understandable.
All right, next trailer we got was one of the ones that preceded Avatar: The Way of Water, except for George's showing apparently. But Oppenheimer, physicist J. Robert.
I didn't get it even.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
fuck that.
Physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer worked with a team of scientists during the Manhattan Project, leading to the development of the atomic bomb. This movie is starring everybody. Trailer I thought did justice. I don't think it gave too much away, while also really setting that this tone is going to be really suspenseful, really chilling almost, the way that Robert Oppenheimer is portrayed by Cillian Murphy, how he's just kind of deadpanned, understanding that what they're building there is going to just potentially just blow up the entire world. And Christopher Nolan might blow up the entire world making this movie, because obviously the news came out that he's recreated the nuclear weapon. Yeah, that's definitely
some funny There are some funny memes though, man.
There were. There was like
maybe the
Christopher
first
Nolan's cast and crew finding out they're not using CGI.
Yeah,
the first day. Okay, yeah, fine.
There was some really funny.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I don't know why. It just didn't show it in mine.
did it not? Did it not go on YouTube like Barbie trailer did? Was it?
No,
only,
it didn't.
Oh,
No,
shit,
it
so-
didn't. It was just
That was just an exclusive, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, it
I was
wasn't really. I mean,
So goddamn furious.
You
Was
guys
it any
know
different
anything about
than the teasers
Oppenheimer?
we had before? Like,
Say that again, Cam.
Do you know anything about Oppenheimer?
I know what
I'm not.
U.S.
I know-
history
I know-
taught me.
Yeah, I know who he is, but like all of these other, like I'm not a history buff by any means, and I'm an idiot. I say that all the time. I don't really know a lot about him. I know he fucking created the atomic bomb, but
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. So I'm pumped for this thing.
Same, yeah. It'll be a more exciting way to learn some history. I'm sure
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
spot on accurate. But yeah, I guess two of us haven't even seen this trailer, but I'm sure probably within a week or so, hopefully, it comes out on YouTube. But
I would guess. Like
one
after the
trailer,
night, or
right? But one trailer that did come out also before Avatar that also was released the day after is Barbie, and obviously everyone's talking about this. It's a shot-for-shot, basically remake of the 2001: A Space Odyssey opening, which is a very creative way to do a trailer. And,
yeah, that's so funny.
there's some really funny memes about like Kubrick looking down on the trailer. It's like,
Yeah.
You know that picture of Willem Dafoe? He's like, oh, it's so funny. Man.
So Barbie is just after being expelled from Barbie Land for being less than a perfect-looking doll. Barbie sets off for the human world to find true happiness, and this is starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Simu Liu. George,
He needs to stop tweeting stuff. By the way, he's did it again today.
Yeah, Simu Liu is like
He's-
basically canceled at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he did, and I guess it's like old tweets. But
He
I
just does too. He just what I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He just
So, yeah.
he gets too involved in things, and he just
no. But I think he was like actually canceled.
Oh, is he actually cancelled?
Yeah, because I guess he had some like old like I've never seen them. But
He's
I
not
guess
going to
they
press
were
charges on you.
I don't.
You can-
I've
What-
never
what-
seen them. I don't know what.
Oh,
the-
you've never. Okay.
Yeah.
were. No.
Well, we don't need to get into the specifics of what they were. I have
Yeah,
seen them.
it's
I know what they're about, but we don't need to rehash that. George, you filmed I'd call it like a viral trailer reaction to this. So I'll kick it over to you about the Barbie.
That did
Yeah,
so
that-
well.
That's pushing like 600K views. That was
Really?
Yeah.
It was good. It was
Yeah,
fun.
the most unrealistic thing about a live action Barbie movie is that they cast Margot Robbie as the imperfect Barbie. Like, you can't fucking do that. Yeah, this is, I mean, 2001: A Space Odyssey is what I consider to be the greatest movie of all time. I have no doubt in my mind Barbie will surpass that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
No, all seriousness, I'm pretty excited. I have no reason to doubt Greta Gerwig.
She hasn't given us a. Yeah.
She's 2 for 2. Lady Bird being a 5 out of 5 star for me. I'm excited. The cast is also stacked. It looks like it's going to be just balls to the wall fun. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how deep this screenplay goes. Like, are they just going to give us like service level Barbie to like?
I don't think she will.
No shot. Not with Greta Gerwig.
No,
Yeah, that's what I was
she's too
thinking.
smart
Like,
for
are they going to try to like pander to like, let 8-year-olds come watch this movie, or are they going to keep this like?
I don't think so.
R-rated?
I do agree and see where George is coming from though, because Greta Gerwig's obviously her name keeps getting thrown around for being the next Narnia director. So is this movie going to be similar to Little Women and Lady Bird, where it's incredible screenplay, deep movie, or is this going to be sort of her transition to blockbuster-esque type movies if she wants to go towards the Chronicles of Narnia type way? So it'll be interesting to see how this movie ends up being.
In fact, she didn't write Little Women.
I love it. I love it, George. I think I liked your Barbie trailer and scrolled past. I love this thing.
Thanks.
Next trailer, Scream 6. So 4 survivors of the original Ghostface killings attempt to leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in NYC, starring Jenna Ortega and Hayden Panettiere, as well as some others. I don't know. I'm not I haven't either, but I've seen all the ones leading up to that. I'm not like
I've only seen the first.
The last one's not that bad, honestly.
It's not.
I've heard it's pretty middle of the road. But
I will say I don't think I've ever seen any other Screams other than the first, and it was a long time ago when I was.
Are they not related to each other?
I think it's a soft reboot off the first, right? I don't remember the first too well. Whatever. I'll say, I like that they went to NYC. They're trying to start their life over rather than like, oh, we're still in this small town.
Cabin in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, I can't believe we keep coming back here. I like that they've tried to get away and he's still there. It's
bro. Yeah, different. Like I hope this movie just like Ghostface is on Times Square and just some like crazed homeless people just end the movie 10 minutes in, just beat him to death, and then the story's just done.
Yeah, right. Like he would get. They're on the train. The teaser's on the train. The New York City folk would have this man in shambles. like absolutely done.
Anyone else want to touch on Scream 6?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now this one we'll just go quickly over because this is one of the worst trailers I've ever seen, and that's for 65.
Oh, whoa!
It's not the worst trailer.
I haven't seen.
So this trailer shows absolutely everything that'll happen in the movie. After a catastrophic crash on an unknown planet, pilot Mills quickly discovers he's actually stranded on Earth 65 million years ago. Now, the only one chance at a rescue, Mills and the only other survivor, Koa, must make their way across an unknown terrain riddled with dangerous prehistoric creatures, which of course are dinosaurs, which they showed way too much of in the trailer. I saw a funny tweet about this movie that said, I'm happy Adam Driver is now in his second vacation home era of his career where he's not going to make good movies. He's just making movies to make money. This movie's not going to be good. There's no way this is a good movie. This trailer showed so much.
Peak.
This one is like, yeah, you're right. It's not going to be good. I'm interested to see Adam Driver in this. I don't know how you guys feel about Adam Driver. I assume George loves him because he loves Marriage Story. I think he's an incredible actor. He truly is.
Definitely.
And he's one of the few shining lights in the I say few shining lights. I really like the sequel trilogy other than the last. He's like one of the better parts of the Star Wars, and that's about as big as big budget as he gets. I mean, he's in pretty big budget movies, I guess, but I'm interested to see.
I've only seen him in one film, ever.
Marriage Story?
What?
I haven't seen Marriage Story.
Black Klansman?
No.
Star Wars?
No.
You haven't seen any of the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy?
No, I've only seen the first 6.
But you've watched Barry Lyndon 4 times?
Wait, give me a second.
I've watched it twice. Come on.
The Last Duel?
No. I haven't even seen Martin Scorsese's
Logan Lucky? Have you seen Logan Lucky?
House of Gucci.
No, not seen it.
Dude, which one have you seen?
What have I seen? Do I watch films anymore?
Silence.
I know, I've just said I haven't seen that. That's
What
the only
movie-
Scorsese.
okay, just tell us what Adam Driver have you seen?
It's Inside Llewyn Davis. The Coen Brothers film.
Okay. You fucking weirdo. No offense.
You like the Coen Brothers?
No offense. I do.
You like the Coen Brothers?
I do. I've never seen Inside Llewyn Davis.
What?
Yeah, I know.
George has that as a 5, I think.
Okay, easy.
I need to rewatch that.
But go watch. Okay, so I'm not gonna say you have to watch the new Star Wars.
I want to watch Marriage Story.
Marriage Story. Black Klansman's absolutely incredible.
The Last Duel as well. That's really
Logan Lucky. I think is really really fucking great. Good. I'll give it. I don't know. I don't have it at a 5.
I'm not
out of
watching
5, so I
House of
won't say
Gucci.
great.
That looks shit.
Yeah, you don't have to watch that. Do you guys like
Where's-
Logan Lucky?
Yes, I do. 4 to
Yeah,
5.
Haven't seen
Really,
it.
really good. Yeah, it's really good.
I need to watch films. Honestly, this is embarrassing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
bro.
But
Stop watching things pre 1950.
well, that being said, Adam Driver's good. I'm interested to see how
Very
he does
good,
in this.
yeah.
If he just fucking like, I'm give me that money, or
Yeah.
or what. But
Let's transition now to some nerd news here. First up, we'll talk about the DCU, but we're not going to go too in depth to it because we did a whole thing on it last week. But really, just the remnants of the chaos that was last week are being corrected, being talked about, and trying to confirm, and just some other stuff that we kind of saw coming are just being confirmed. So Henry Cavill obviously out as Superman. The Pattinson Batman is confirmed to not be in the DCU by James Gunn. And then speaking of Superman, James Gunn is going to be writing the Superman movie following a young Clark Kent. And building off of this, he said that the DCU reboot is not looking to redo origin stories for all of these superheroes, looking to just not do that because it's been rehashed too many times. Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and at this point, every single Justice League member has been cut from the DCU. They're gone, not coming back. Ezra Miller, don't know how they were the last one to be cut out of this whole thing.
what? So they're definitely done. That there's no way they're coming back. But if that happens, crazy. But what is the Flash movie gonna be now, man? Because
That's
If
still
you've seen,
getting
like-
the same release date.
It's
Is
just
it
got to
still,
reset
like-
the universe at this point. I feel like that's its only
Really,
purpose.
it's surprising.
yeah, I think they're just
bad
gonna
name for it
change
now.
the ending. I think they're somehow just gonna change the ending in post production because I don't know how long post production takes, but you have what 2-3 months. I assume they can change something. But man, they've. Have you seen the Flashpoint animated show or movie, George?
Yep.
The point of it is like a lot of characters. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's multiverse of madness, but with even less cameos.
Yeah. So two things on that Flash movie. One, I feel like it's been like locked in that's going to be a DC reset for a while. I think that was even decided before James Gunn came on. I remember it was the end of last year when we were finding out about this that the Flash movie is going to be essentially a starting all over point. So I think it would be advantageous to James Gunn if that is the case to just carry along with that movie, release it. Don't worry about Ezra Miller. The movie's probably not going to make a lot because of them. But just continue it because if it is a hard reset, then you have to do. You've dropped all of the Justice League characters. You have to embrace it. It's bittersweet to see all these guys go, but it's better than having 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door, which they had for quite some time. I have a question. What is going to happen with the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker?
I think James Gunn said Peacemaker is going to be like a legacy series because he's still making season two. They're making a season 2, and so I'm guessing.
Like it's not going to be connected to the DCU anymore?
I don't know. I heard the term legacy series, so like he's still going to do it, but no, in my opinion, that sounds like he's going to do it, but it's not going to be connected. I don't know though, honestly. Also, next question: what's your guys' thoughts on? I've seen a ton of tweets about the Flash, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2. What's the point in seeing them if they don't matter? And then you get a bunch of replies that it's like, this is how superhero movies have ruined, the movies in general because everything has to be connected. I don't think everything has to be connected, but I fear that these movies are going to I'm going to see them, obviously. I fear that these movies are still going to try to set something up that's never going to happen because, they've already been made. So they probably have some sort of tie into the greater DC universe. I'm not saying everything needs to be connected, but when you make 3 movies that are connected and then they're not connected to anything else, it kind of just feels weird.
I don't know if, and obviously Shazam is a part of the DCU, but at the same time, Shazam 1 had no ties to the greater DC universe.
What is Shazam?
All because of The Rock.
It's a child. It's a child that has the power of the gods, and if he says Shazam, he becomes a super.
I saw the trailer.
He becomes Zachary Levi.
I saw the trailer for the first time before Avatar yesterday. I will not be watching that. There is no.
It's a movie George hates, and I think is not that bad.
I don't hate it. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's just the most corny, cheesy. It's got the worst.
Is it for kids
villain.
though? Is it like a kids?
I mean, it's
I quite
PG-13.
liked it,
It's
honestly.
PG-13, but it's way light. It's way more lighthearted than a lot of DC
Content.
content. Yeah, just saying. I don't know. I don't hate it.
But
I'm not going to defend it with my life.
yeah, so for me, honestly, when I review superhero movies in the MCU or the DCEU, my score gets altered pretty much absolutely 0% based on how much it connects with anything. So I still think I'll watch these and enjoy them. I know in the back of my mind I'll be like, this doesn't mean anything, but I still think I'll watch them and enjoy them for what they are, because I do like genuinely do agree with that criticism that like superhero movies have ruined people's expectations to the point where like if it's not connecting to 7 other movies, it's a bad film. So I still think I can watch this and like appreciate it for what it is. All these movies coming out, so I'm not like not gonna see them because they're not connecting to anything. I'll still watch them and give them a fair score.
Yeah.
I think the people who it ruins for are people that only watch superhero movies. You know,
Yeah.
like they're
solely,
gonna be like, fuck it, I'm not seeing this. But they aren't gonna watch any other movies anyways.
But
you
they
know?
still will watch it though, won't they? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
probably.
I don't know.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, same. Like, continue.
Yeah, just some quick final things. Ben Affleck in talks to direct a possible future DC film. I think Cam maybe last week said that Ben Affleck's one of the most underrated directors out there right now. So I think that'd be cool. I think
he's good.
Even in his outside of DC stuff, I think his style of directing would just totally work with the DC universe. Obviously, we have no clue what style James Gunn wants to go towards, but I still think it'll work. And then just funny petty news, which I saw something that said like it's not confirmed, but I feel like it's kind of hard to not confirm it. And I feel like it's The Rock PR saying like making something out of like The Rock unfollowed DC and all their social media. I just feel like that's something hard to like be fake news. Like I feel like The Rock just like followed them back and was like, look people, I never unfollowed them. Like that's just such, from what we've seen about Dwayne The Rock Johnson the past like 2 months, that would be such a Rock thing. Just refollow them quickly and be like, look guys, like I know it says followed 17 minutes ago, but I've been following them for years. I just think that's funny, and just like
this is just bad journalism. It's just who cares, like really.
Well, it is interesting because
people probably do care, don't they?
It is like interesting though, just because Black Adam did release on HBO Max the other day, and he like hasn't posted anything about it, and like that's just like shitty because I get like he's disappointed that it didn't do as well as possible, but it's still a movie he put a lot of his soul into.
Did it do bad? I haven't really seen.
I think
numbers.
basically there's so many conflicting reports, but I think what we can all pretty much agree on is like it broke even is about where it's at.
Well, to be fair, it might have lost, it might have made money, but it's also been reported that he leaked fake news to like Deadline to imply that it made money and just basically committed fraud, which is hilarious. But yeah, so I think that's why I think the report that he leaked the fake making money news to Deadline is just funny. One thing, Tyler, that I do want to touch on is that he went over a little bit is that Ta-Nehisi Coates, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, and J.J. Abrams are still making their Superman movie, which revolves around a black Superman. I don't know who's going to be cast in it or not, but what are your guys' opinions on having 2 Supermen? Are they both going to, and they can be different characters, obviously, like they're both not Clark Kent.
I didn't even hear about this. Fair enough.
I mean,
but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's your opinion on having 2 Supermen? Are they both going to be in the DCU?
I'm fine with it because basically the way I like it too is because last week I said I didn't want 2 Batmans because that's 2 Batmans and 2 Bruce Waynes, same character, different universes. Whereas this is more like Miles Morales versus Peter Parker, so they're not the same person. So that's where like I'm like fine with it. But,
I mean, Spider-Man did it, so why wouldn't it? Okay, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
George,
all right, that works.
How about you?
You guys, you said everything I wanted to say. I want to touch on the Ben Affleck stuff, actually. If
go
you
for
guys
it.
don't mind, quickly. What is his, like, and I get he played Batman, obviously, at the start of, like, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. He was very passionate about playing the character of Batman, but I don't think he falls that far from, like, Henry Cavill in terms of, like, being fucked over by the DCU. Like, and I've said this before, but, like, if I were Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, I'm telling DCU to like go fuck themselves.
I'm glad that he got his own. He's doing that Warhammer production, isn't he? Warhammer
that I'm
That's
very
quite
happy.
nice. He's got his own
like,
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but like Ben Affleck coming back to direct a DC movie, just it feels very odd considering what they did to like his character of Batman.
What did they do? I mean, I've not seen anything.
Well, just like recasting, basically.
Yeah, they're recasting him. Yeah, they're just dogging him.
I don't know, like
and how many
why
films
did
did he
Andrew
do?
like 2? Well, 3 because Justice League. But like, I don't know, why did Andrew Garfield come back for Spider-Man No Way Home? He got like fucked over by Sonyverse. Like, it's kind of like, I think at some point, money, but also I think with Henry Cavill specifically, he loves Superman. But I think a lot of times people might overreact to how much people are attached to these characters, because maybe I'm missing something, but I never got the same level of energy from Ben Affleck that he was like so passionate about Batman. The same level as Henry Cavill with Superman. Did he get fucked over? Absolutely. So did Gal Gadot. So did the guy who plays Cyborg. Yeah, anyone.
Yeah, Ray Fisher.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's just kind of, and specifically for Ben Affleck, I think he will absolutely be involved in the future of DC, whereas Henry Cavill probably not, unless he's get recast. It's not like Henry Cavill's not like a director, whereas Ben Affleck like naturally will probably be involved in DCU and might even be one of James Gunn's like right hand mans that's like helping him plan this universe. We don't know.
Yeah.
Is Andrew Garfield the same comparison though? Because that's going from Marvel to the MCU. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit different, is it not?
Andrew Garfield was essentially scrapped by Sony because they still had the rights to Spider-Man, and the MCU I think wanted to move forward with out him essentially.
Yeah.
I don't think his Spider-Man really fit what they were going for in the MCU. I think Tom Holland kind of embodies that true teenager more than Andrew Garfield did.
Right, which also I think will make the pill easier to swallow for people like Ben Affleck. Is the Batman reboot's not going to look like Ben Affleck. It's not going to be the grizzled 45-year-old. It'll probably be someone like the Superman recast is going to be younger than Henry Cavill. So it's not like they're just going to be like, oh, they just traded me in for a different model. It's going to be like, okay, I can clearly see why they had to go a different direction here. But we'll see. I'm excited to see whenever they present this. Sounds like early 2023 they might present like a keynote or something. Sounds like it'll be more low-key than what Marvel does with their big presentations. But I wish they would do something like a Marvel did, because that'd be electric seeing James Gunn on stage. But last thing on DC, we got a first look at Joker 2. Really nothing to talk about here. It's just a picture of him shaving.
Everyone went wild for it anyway.
Like, I mean, that's just the nature.
I went wild for it.
Yeah, I can tell. I imagine you went wild.
Kidding me?
Hopping into Marvel right as Cam walks through the door.
Wait, his dog?
Deadpool 3 has been assured by Sean Levy that it'll be just as brutal and foul as other Deadpools. I don't even know, like, MCU is getting a lot more PG and catering more towards kids. I don't think anyone actually like truly thought Deadpool 3 was going to be neutered in terms of its graphicness.
Hasn't it always got, I mean, I haven't seen Deadpool 1 and 2, but hasn't it always been more catered towards a younger audience than like a DC anyway?
Not Deadpool. Deadpool's always been very much R-rated.
I haven't seen Deadpool 3 first. Yeah, fair enough.
So
Deadpool's R-rated.
It's like a nice thing that he confirmed it, but I don't think it really shocked too many people. And then Donald Glover to star in and produce Hypno Hustler movie, which is a new Spider-Man villain spinoff, which
I like Donald Glover.
Yeah, like Donald Glover, but the thing that the biggest asset James Gunn has going for him is that Sony still exists, to where like no matter how shitty the DCU looks, he can always still be like, okay, at least like I'm not the only one that doesn't know what the fuck like to do with this universe going forward. And then Cam's leaving, but there wasn't really much Marvel anyway. So Cam literally walked in the door and we started talking about Marvel, and we're done with Marvel now, and he walks out the door.
It's not a coincidence.
That's just the perfect for Cam right there. But we'll just quickly run through some castings. Norman Reedus cast in John Wick spinoff Ballerina alongside Ana de Armas. A lot of people on Twitter are really fired up about Norman Reedus because they're huge fans of him. He was in Walking Dead, right? Is that like his big role?
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, he ever since Andrew Lincoln left The Walking Dead, he's been like the only,
OG, like,
he's not even the OG. He's just the only like redeemable quality that The Walking Dead series has.
Was he an American Gangster?
Not that I.
Or was he trained though?
Not that I remember.
Oh no, it was an American Gangster.
But people are very fired up about that news. John Wick universe. I know maybe I'm not the biggest fan, but I can't deny it's like an epic universe, and the more movies they produce, I'm sure, and especially with Ana de Armas and Norman Reedus, it'll be great. Joaquin Phoenix is in Ari Aster's next film from A24 called Beau is Afraid, which is changed their name from Disappointment Boulevard to Beau is Afraid. I don't know. I definitely prefer Disappointment Boulevard over Beau is Afraid, but like it's not like the name of the movie matters too much to me, but I do think it's a weird change in movie names for sure.
It also just like came out of nowhere. Like he dropped the poster and didn't even like say, oh, by the way, name change.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that at first and I was like, oh, pretty funny. Ari Aster's making two movies at the same time.
I did. I thought it was a pretty different thing.
changed the name, but also Joaquin Phoenix, definition of a movie star, because his name on that poster, massive, and then hashtag Bo's Afraid is in like 10-point Times New Roman in the bottom left, and it's not even the name. It's just like a hashtag.
It's just
not even an actual
Joaquin
name.
Phoenix.
Yeah, but it's Ari Aster. Should be absolutely incredible. Leonardo DiCaprio is being eyed to star in the next Paul Thomas Anderson film.
Big win.
Yes, huge
one.
Nothing could. There's no way that movie wouldn't be incredible.
He would fit his film so well.
It's one of those, like, he's been one of the most acclaimed actors of the last 2 decades. Paul Thomas Anderson has been one of the most acclaimed filmmakers of the last 2 decades. Like, it was bound to happen.
That it hasn't happened sooner. That you think
there's like so many of those. Like, I know like everyone is pushing for like Michael Fassbender to work with, like Denis Villeneuve. Like, there's so many just like obvious direct filmmaker actor combinations that would just make sense. Like, they work.
It's so obvious though, isn't it? Leo and
Leo
and Boogie Nights. It's so obvious. It's surprising that happened sooner.
It just works. Yeah, like everyone's like, when am I getting a Scorsese Joaquin Phoenix movie? And I'm like, that would just work.
Yeah.
This for me is funny because it's like Paul Thomas Anderson, like he can get Leo. That's like, obviously he can have Leo in his movie, but it's funny. It's like Leo's being eyed for this next role. Yeah, Leo's being eyed for every fucking movie out right now. So it makes sense. But yeah, like you said, it's a good casting if it happens. I'm sure it will. It's one of those things where I put it in, even though it's a rumor, as I'm pretty confident it'll happen.
It's gonna happen anyway.
Like before Adam Driver was cast in 65, they're like, "Hey, Leo," and he's like, "Don't even finish your sentence. Don't even finish the sentence." Right. And in last news, Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson cast in Blumhouse's live-action Five Nights at Freddy's film. Didn't even know Josh Hutcherson was still in the acting game. So cool. Like, maybe I've been missing his films, but I was gonna say welcome back, Josh Hutcherson. I don't know if he's been in stuff.
With that with Matthew Lillard.
He plays Shaggy, didn't he?
Yeah, he's Shaggy. Yeah.
I used to play Five Nights at Freddy's game. It was actually quite.
I saw Matthew Lillard trending on Twitter. And like, my first thought was, no fucking way are we getting the gang back together for a third or a second Scooby Doo movie or whatever.
I'd be on that.
Nope. I'd be their midnight premiere.
All right. Now, before we get into our draft, there's a couple, not too much movie news today, so we'll just quickly go on through them. Dune Part 2 is finished filming, so they got about a year now of post-production and marketing to go ahead, but...
So I've got a year to watch the first one. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Bro, watch it tonight, dude. Holy shit.
No, I've got Anna's film tonight.
Go watch Coco.
We're watching 10 Reasons I Hate You. Matthew McConaughey.
10 Things I Hate About You.
No, that's not Matthew. That's the one with Rocky, the Heath Ledger one, isn't it?
Oh,
what are you watching? The Ghost of Girlfriends Past?
No, it's 10 Things.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
Just ignore me. If I find it, I'll
what
tell
you're
you.
talking about.
Give me a sec. You're gonna make
it. Yeah, I just want to say something while you guys figure this out on Dune too. There's so many like interviews of and Victoria brought this up to me last night, and I was hysterically laughing. There's so many interviews of like Austin Butler still talking like Elvis
in his voice.
And the comments on every single tweet, every single Instagram post are always the exact same. Bro, still doing the voice. Let it go, bro. The movie's over. You're not getting an Elvis 2, dude.
The film is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson.
I mean, you're going to give this movie a 1.5 to a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. Even though it's truly not terrible.
Wait, if it's is it okay if I say Anna or is it pronounced Anna? You say Anna. You have that nice luscious.
I say Anna.
Yeah, you said Anna.
Anna. Yeah, you have that nice luscious
that's just an accent.
UK accent.
Bro also says
if it's Anna's night to watch a movie, tell her you'd like to watch Coco, because I'm certain.
No, because I did Inside Out the other day, because that was what I.
Oh, you picked Inside Out.
I thought
but she loves it. No, but I picked it because I wanted to watch some of the collection. But she loves it, so it's like a combined.
Fair.
She loves Coco, right?
I think she has it like a 4.5. Yeah, so she really likes it. I'll watch that soon. Don't worry.
Next piece of news: Hayao Miyazaki's next and most likely final film, How Do You Live, officially given release date of July 14th, 2023. I think we're no reason to not be excited for that.
It's based on a book. I don't know anything about the book, though.
Hot take incoming. I think you could argue Hayao Miyazaki as being one of the 10 greatest filmmakers of all time.
10, yes. I thought you were going to
I
say
haven't
the
seen
hot
those.
take
From
is
what I have seen,
number
he has
one.
done
No.
so many great films. So many. So.
He's the greatest animator of all
But
time.
George, it's animation, so it doesn't count towards grown-up films.
Right.
Amazon announces a God of War series in development. It just sounds like the most Amazon series ever. That's gonna get like not gonna do that great. But also,
I think that'll do maybe do better than Lord of the Rings, than Rings of Power. Sorry,
I was gonna say, hopefully it's not like a Halo situation because the Halo trailers were crap. Like the Halo trailers. Were
did you watch that?
fucking
I didn't watch it.
good.
I heard it was bad.
I watched the first 3 episodes and it was not.
Oh, okay.
even the first episode, I was like, I'm in for this, and then it kind of just derailed. But
fair enough.
But yeah, God of
And
War. I don't know. The God of War. So go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, like, I know a lot of people are upset with the Halo TV show. For the same reason people are upset with like the Hobbit trilogies because they don't follow the lore as well as they maybe should. And I don't give a fuck about the Halo lore. I've never played a video game or anything.
It depends how much into you are with the video game.
Exactly. But even so, like people said, if you don't play the video game, you might like the show because you don't really know what's going on. I still didn't love the show at all.
You're not a gamer anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer to begin with.
Well, one thing we talked about with The Last of Us is that it's going to translate well to a show because it is so cinematic and there's such a story to it. I'm not a gamer at all. I haven't video gamed consistently like 4 to 5 years, maybe longer.
Yeah, I mean, I am.
But
so
I played God of War, the one that came out when the PS4 came out. When that first came out, like a long time ago. Yeah, that's like the last video game I remember playing. Story was absolutely cracked and like very good story. Like it's not just like a game you play just to like, go and kill things and smash things up. Like there's a great story to it that I think could translate well to a TV show.
It's IGN's 1 of 4. They're given a 10 out of 10. So the audience for this is huge.
So
huge.
that'll be huge. And then another thing coming to Amazon is Henry Cavill starring in a Warhammer 40K series, and
good for him.
He's gonna be producing as well. And this
seemed
is
excited.
He's like everyone kind of knows he's like a big like kind of nerd that loves games like this, and he's a big Warhammer 40K guy. Like loves the lore, loves the games, loves everything about it. So there's like a huge passion project for him, like even more so than like The Witcher, based on like how much he seems to be into like those worlds, like in his just personal free time that he does just for fun. So it'll be cool seeing him do such a passion project. And again, he's like going to be dipping his toe into like the producing game as well. So maybe he starts to do like a slowly gets into the production game and maybe directing game. Maybe we don't know what the world holds for Henry Cavill now that he's not tied down to being Superman. And then last bit of news. HBO Max making just continued just massive cuts, just not only ending series but removing them from their library. And this is just where like the thing that sucks is like at the end of the day, movies are art, but it's a business, and it's just so stupid to think you can cut something and remove it from your library because then you can go on your tax returns and say I'm claiming this as a lost asset on my tax returns and write-offs, which is just annoying because that's why people are like, oh, just cancel it and keep it on there. Like, it's not harming you. Like, my dumb brain, I'm like, it can't be taking that much hard drive space in your servers. Just keep the show on there. But now they can write it off as like, oh, we had this whole property and now we don't have it. We're writing it off. And that just sucks because who knows what happens to these? Because, like, if they write it off, like, do they still hold the rights to it? Which means that, like, are they going to be shot? They are selling them?
They're selling them to like TV channels. So not another streaming service, but like they're selling them to like FX to play like on for free, but with ads. So.
Also, did you guys see that Blockbuster got cancelled after season 1?
Yeah,
I heard that show sucked. I never watched.
Yeah, I did. I heard that show.
That show dropped in like the very first day. Like people were tweeting, like saying, like, "Oh, this is bad, like bad."
Yeah,
like Netflix
this is not it, Chief.
They got rid of them to begin with, anyway. So it's like,
a lot of funny memes that came out of that. But we're done with everything in this episode except for, of course, the draft. So with Avatar: The Way of Water coming out, being a sequel long awaited for original Avatar, with the trailer for Across the Spider-Verse coming out, this is a big sequels week. So I decided we're going to do a draft of the best sequels of all time. And the rules that we all agreed upon here is that sequel means the second in a franchise or second in an installment of a series. So, like, for example, I threw out Lord of the Rings, which I don't think I'm spoiling anything because I guarantee someone's going to be picking this and this because there's no way Two Towers doesn't get taken. But the Two Towers is a sequel. Return of the King is not a sequel. It's a third. So really the sequel, just in your mind, the original comes out, the immediate movie they follow it up with. Whether it's a prequel or sequel, it's just the second movie that comes out after the original comes out. Rules are accepted.
It can't be like a second movie in a trilogy if it doesn't follow on, like Shaun of the Dead, for example, what we spoke about earlier.
Well, yeah, that's a weird case. And this is one we might have to argue when the picks come out, but we'll just have to cross those roads when we come to it. First pick is...
I have a few entries on my list that might require some analysis.
Which is fine. We'll cross that. And God, I have the first pick, and this is like of all drafts is the one I really didn't want first pick. Because for me, I see like 6 that I think are really good. So I would have, and at the first pick, I'm not going to be able to get like 2 of them. So I really think there's like 5 here. You could pick up one that. God.
And also congrats to Tyler for winning last week's draft, the streaming originals.
I'll be honest. Last week hurt.
Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself, Cam?
What was the final result?
I don't care. I don't know what the final result.
He got 9%.
I think I set him for okay. I think that's the lowest in ReelTok history. Maybe not lowest, but maybe.
You forgot Soul, bro. It's
I know.
You forgot, people cannot overlook that.
I'll be honest. Like even without Soul, in my opinion, and I know it's just my opinion, I clear that draft, and that one hurt. Really.
Well, you have a chance to redeem yourself here because you have the 4th pick.
Big Sick as your first pick.
Well,
what would you have taken in that spot if you couldn't have Marriage Story, George?
I have to look at the whole draft.
Okay, Manchester by the Sea. Cam, that was the second pick for me. You could have had that.
I still, dude.
You've got like a 5-star. Yeah?
Whatever. Well,
yes,
Cam,
but I have the Big Sick at a 5-star. I think it's the best streaming.
Bottom line is, Cam, you're going to redeem yourself this week. I have faith in you. I think you have the best.
Every
draft
other draft,
slot.
I don't give a shit about.
He's not going to redeem himself.
Every other
the best
draft,
slot.
I don't give a shit about.
Iron Man
that one
2 or
that one hurt.
something.
All right, let's do it.
We can go. So there's one that I technically want to pick more than this, but I'm staying true to myself, and it's the highest rated I have of a sequel. I'm going The Dark Knight at the first pick here.
Yeah.
Even though I really wanted to pick a different one, but George, I think you're probably going to be taking the one I was debating between.
And Cam, I'm really
then
sorry.
you're going with it. Yep.
I am going to take Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then George or Seth, I know what you're taking.
Well, actually, mine's one of 2.
No, yeah, there's definitely 2 that I think he's going.
No, I have one that you. Oh, no, sorry, mine's one of 3, actually, Tyler. 3. But I'm going to go for, of course,
Barry Lyndon 2.
Towers.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to go for the 2 towers, of course. 2 towers.
Yep.
Yeah, like
This is going about as I expected so far. And see, Cam, like I feel like Cam would have wanted all 3 of those, but now he gets back-to-back picks, which is huge.
A lot more than I care for my next.
You've got an
2,
obvious
but
pick,
I think well, I don't know if that's true.
There's an obvious
got an
next pick, I feel like.
Am I missing something?
I think there's one very obvious that has.
There's one huge like.
Oh shit! I hope I don't miss it.
All right, don't.
Okay. Okay. I'm taking The Godfather Part 2,
There
and
we go.
then I'm taking T2, Terminator 2.
Yep.
Okay.
I missed that one in my
That's wild that you missed
I know.
I must say, so now it's Seth's turn around too. I must say, as far as drafts go, I think this is about as cookie cutter. Like what the draft should pretty much be is going down right now.
I think those were the given.
The top 5, yeah.
I think we're missing one.
The top 5 was always good. So far.
I agree with
that
you,
won't get
George. I
taken.
would have taken the one.
Yeah, I think we're missing.
That won't get. Mine is one that's not going to get taken for anyone else, but I love it. My number 1 romance of all time, Before Sunset.
Wow.
I wasn't going to take that next.
I've got it at 5 out of 5. That's
I thought I could get that in the 3rd round. My second pick is the only remaining 5 out of 5 star movie, 5 out of 5 star sequel that I have, and that is Aliens.
Yep.
Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Yeah.
Damn you.
Or in Tyler's world, like
a 3.5 out of 5.
Not a big Aliens guy. Not a big
I don't
Aliens
even.
guy.
It's not as good as Aliens.
See, now is where we're getting interesting because I don't think
Now is where we get
There's no
like,
standouts now.
There's no like set what needs to come next.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Exactly. This is why I hated the first pick because everything you got. Because even though I didn't love Aliens, I probably picked it for pandering. But I'm gonna go with a pick here. I'm gonna go with. Oh, do I want it here? Yeah, it's not gonna be available when it comes back to me. I'm gonna go Blade Runner 2049.
Fuck you!
That wasn't even on my list.
I completely forgot about that.
I did.
I would have taken that over Aliens. No.
I
really over Aliens.
Didn't think anyone would take it after George missed it.
I am so furious right now. No shot.
And then you know what? We're gonna go with Top Gun Maverick.
Damn, that's a good pick.
That's one where it's like I could have chose like 5.
I have that on mine.
I think that's gonna get votes, but I don't think that should have been a 3rd overall pick.
I still give it a 4.5 out of 5.
My next pick is gonna be the Winter Soldier.
Damn you.
Damn, that's
a good one.
I'd say that's the best. It's not a hot take to say that's the best MCU sequel, right?
Yeah.
But don't say what else you would think competes because maybe someone else can pick it.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Okay, cool.
But
Seth.
You have Cam, do you have Far From Home rated above Winter Soldier?
No, surely not.
No. Don't you have Far From Home as like the second best?
I
MCU?
swear the first video I ever saw of Cam was literally him saying like Far From Home is like his like number 2 MCU
That's what
movie of all
I. Yeah,
time.
that's what I thought.
And then
I
he's like
like it.
gaslighting me to say that never happened. I'm like, I remember that being like the first.
I
Cam
mean,
TikTok I've ever seen.
you're more than welcome to like go in my videos and check, but I don't remember saying that. Maybe I did. I had it higher rated than I do now, but
Okay, Seth.
All right, Seth, third pick.
I'm between two. There's one, George, that only me or you would pick.
And I think
Ooh,
I'd
And we
strategy.
both have it at the same rating. However, I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to go for Toy Story 2.
Okay, okay. I think I know what movie you're talking
You do.
about.
You do.
Well, you do have
know
another
it.
pick before George comes, but now it's Cam with the
You
back
do,
to
yeah.
yeah, sorry, I was trying.
Oh, yeah, I
to,
do. I'll get it. It's fine.
All right, I'm
Well,
taking.
I have a few movies above the one I think we're thinking of, Seth.
What'd
You
you
might
take? Seth?
do.
You took
Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2. Damn, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna take Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even have that.
gotta be
What?
picked. Gotta be picked.
How did
Yeah,
I not
I'm gonna
have
say
See,
that?
Kill Bill.
I had that on my list, but
There's
I did
one that
not
I'm
think
surprised
it-
you guys haven't taken yet, but maybe Cam does here.
did not think I would be picked.
Oh, it's time's go, isn't it? Yeah.
Man, I didn't prepare for this draft too much necessarily, just
You
because.
never prepare.
That's not true. I prepared last
You
week.
always
bastard.
research them as you do.
No, but
You
this
get mad
this
for coming in last.
No. This week I just have my list of my just sequels, so I didn't really have to prepare. I'm just going off my
Okay.
list.
Fair,
That's
fair.
But
Respect.
I just don't know if I want to take it based on mine or what I think will win.
Inside the mind of someone who just got a 9%, just trying to figure out what's gonna work.
Inside the mind of a depressed man.
Cam is sweating. Cam promises podium finishes. Can't even give us that.
Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm going. I'm selling out. I'm taking Shrek the second.
Oh,
Shrek 2.
You know what? That's not a
You-
bad one, though.
No, that's a bad pick. That's a bad
I
pick.
don't think that's a bad. There's not many left that I think are like.
I have a list of another.
I still have a
25.
lot left. I guess we'll have more honorable mentions than I
Okay.
expected, but Seth, you're next.
People like that movie more than they should.
On my note I was speaking about earlier, one of the greatest horror comedies of all
you
time,
fuck.
with Evil Dead 2.
That's the movie. You're such a
That's
scum.
the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you got past Tyler and I with that one. That was a free pick for you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's got to be one of the best. That's another 4.5 I have. I think
Shit.
George has as well.
It actually was on my list because at one point I was like, I need to put sequels on here that I haven't even seen just in case everything is
Motherfucker,
perfect.
Cam?
What?
Oh wait, never mind.
That's brilliant.
Sorry, I almost got mad at myself, but I was thinking of a third that feels like a sequel.
Damn it,
Sorry.
you're a scumbag. I really was banking on Evil Dead 2 to be my next pick.
I knew you would be.
Mainly because I didn't want to have to take 2 back-to-back superhero movies. But we're going to, and I'm going to take Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next pick. God damn it.
Yeah, that's a miss.
Yeah,
All right,
Shrek,
I
and
don't-
you
I
go with
can't-
Shrek 2, bro.
Yeah, Cam, was that the
Shrek
one you were
2's good.
pissed at yourself about?
No, I was
Oh.
thinking of Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, but I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
that's
That's
a
not. That's not.
like it's yeah.
I
That's a-
also thought that in my
I
head
know,
when I
I
started.
know.
Yeah.
feels like a sequel because I just forget about the sequel.
All right, well, I'll go John Wick 2 for my 4th pick. And then,
Struggling.
see, this pick's not going to get votes for the 5th one, but it is just genuinely one of the best sequels of all time. And
I'll say
a
it.
great movie. So I'm going to
Don't
take
fucking-
Paddington 2.
Oh, thank God.
I haven't even seen the first one.
That's a good pick. It's a miss. I think that's a good pick.
All right.
So
I want
my
to make,
dad's
I want
done,
to
that
make it
was
clear.
George.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. So I have one remaining sequel ranked above the one that I want to take, but I don't want to take 3 straight superhero movies.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
That
nice.
was-
I missed that one.
That was on my
Good
list.
pick. I missed. Yeah.
It was. I'll tell you.
Good
What the other superhero
Dot
movie-
Potta 2. All right, Seth.
Oh, I haven't got many left. I think I'm forgetting loads, to be honest. I'm gonna go for Back to the Future 2.
I like that pick.
Good pick. Good pick.
That's last minute decision.
A little
Last
lower on
pick
that list.
of the draft,
It's 4-star for me.
Cameron Walsh.
Cam, you need a big.
Tempting to
pick.
get on the top podium.
I'm not gonna win, and I've already decided that. But
I think the fans have already
I,
decided that.
yeah, no, that's fine.
I'm not gonna win this one.
You know what my next highest is, but it's so polarizing, and people don't like it. Apparently,
I don't know what it is.
What is it? The Incredibles 2?
No, that's up there.
It's a
not.
superhero movie.
Yeah, it's fuck it. I don't care. It's Far From Home. That's,
Oh. I did not think that's where you're going with that, but okay.
Okay.
What do you think?
What do you
I was
rate
gonna
that?
I thought you were gonna do Guardians of the Galaxy too,
90.
because that's polarizing. I think.
90.
do? 92.
Cannot. Cam, I'm
I
telling
think
you
that's.
right now.
I think that's the best live action Spider-Man.
I think I have a
You-
6.
I have a
That must be the
3.5.
video I saw. I have it like a 6.1 out of 10. I think.
I have like a 3.
I have it at a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go over honorable mentions, but I'm just going to quickly read through everyone's list. So Tyler, The Dark Knight, Blade Runner 2049, Top Gun Maverick, John Wick 2, Paddington 2, George, Empire Strikes Back, Aliens, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Spider-Man 2, and Dot Pata 2, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
George has won it again.
What do you mean again? I'm on a 2-game win streak.
Yeah, Tyler's
I know,
two
but okay,
straight.
fine. George has won this one. That's all I'm gonna say. I
The
know
Two
it.
Towers, Before Sunset, Toy Story 2, Evil Dead 2, Back to the Future 2 is Seth. And then Cam, The Godfather 2, Terminator 2, Kill Bill 2, Shrek 2, Far From Home. Cam, your draft was so
You
good for the
ruined
first
it.
3
It
picks.
was so good.
it
It
was
was
so
so
good.
good.
Hey,
Those
hey.
first 3 are winners.
Shrek 2. Shrek 2.
No, Shrek 2 is a good one. I
It's
don't mind Shrek
loved
2.
for an absurd reason. I don't
Would
like
you
it.
guys have accepted the Suicide Squad as a pick? Because technically it is a sequel to 2016.
I would have
Yeah.
allowed it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's a soft reboot, but it is a sequel. And
Was
also,
that what you
would
were talking about when you said like you didn't want to pick it because it's a superhero movie?
Yeah,
I would have
and then
accepted it.
Also, would you have accepted X-Men: Days of Future Past?
I looked at that. No,
I
would
wouldn't
not
accept that one.
that.
No, because
I
I
looked at that, George.
Technically, it's a sequel,
but there were 4 movies before it. 3.
but it's like an MCU situation where like First Class and Days
But
of
that,
Future
but we
Past
said
kind of go-
Endgame's not an Infinity War sequel, and I feel like that could be
But
the
it's
same
not
argument.
like X-Men 2. Like there is already an X2.
Yeah.
You know.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
X2 was a little lower on my list. I also had The Dark Knight Returns Part 2, Creed 2, and A Quiet Place Part 2.
Creed.
George,
2.
what about what's your opinions on Dawn of the Dead, the 78 one? I've got that pretty high.
It's
I got 4 out of 5, I think, on that one.
I think that's like a Cornetto trilogy thing. Because
That-
there's no ties in that movie to the original Night of the Living Dead. It's more of just like an anthology where
Yeah, I guess.
what's his name, George Romero is just
George
kind of playing around with zombies. So
Yeah, I
I
get it.
I would have let you take it the same way I would have let you take Shaun of the Dead, but that's just me.
No, I don't think I would have loved Shaun of the Dead. Would have been like one of my first picks, but I do think that's not a sequel. It's not really related, is it? So
Also, Tyler, aren't you on the wave that Bourne is better than John Wick? I'm surprised you took John Wick 2 over Bourne Supremacy.
No, I like John Wick. Like my problem with I like John Wick more than the Bourne, but it's like for me with John Wick, I just don't really need to see like I don't want it to get dried out like all these other franchises. Like, like I love the Mission Impossible and Bourne movies. I still enjoy, but it's like they're still kind of just dragging them on at this point. Even though I do enjoy watching them. Like I'm not saying they
You
can be
think
both
Mission
true.
Impossible's dragging on?
Yes, it's like 7. How many movies now?
Yeah, but they
Wasn't the last one really good,
They
though?
just made the best one.
Wait,
It's
what's
not
that?
dragging. It's
The
like
movies are still good, but I don't know. It's
I
just,
don't know, man. It's like it's almost like it's like reinvigorated itself because it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
all I've heard is good things about the last one.
Which
I've
one?
seen
What are we talking about?
Mission Impossible.
Oh,
I'm saying they're good movies still, but it's just like they still are dragging out the same like guy.
At least it's not like Fast and Furious, kind of like
right.
that.
That's the worst.
Yeah, like
example
Fast
of
and
all.
Furious is making bad movies, but
Yeah.
they just keep making money.
The only other honorable mention that I had was Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Like I don't rate it that highly, but that was
That's my
definitely
lowest Harry
like
Potter.
a back pocket one. Like if I needed a sequel, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Guardians of
Yeah,
the
I
Galaxy
wanted to pick
2,
that, but
Rocky
that was
2.
probably-
I'm surprised you didn't pick Wakanda Forever, Cam.
It probably would have been like better received than Far From Home, but I had to stay
Yeah,
true.
Far
to
From
my-
Home is
Yeah,
going
stay
to.
I had
true
to
to
stay
your
true to
gun.
myself, man. Far From Home.
I like that.
Fucking
Well
good.
done, Cam.
Well,
So damn-
that's our episode. You all got a longer one this week, so cheers to that. I hope you all have a good holiday week because next time we see you will be after Christmas in terms of a Real Talk episode. But I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Rate us 5 stars, like the video, comment. Your secret comment phrase this week is all I want for Christmas is Real Talk episode 16. And that does it. Go make sure you go to Twitter and vote for our winner of the draft. And
Me.
peace out, everyone.